Happy Monday night, everybody. It's Michael B. So I wanted to do something a little different from what I've been doing the past couple of weeks. No negativity tonight. I'm not going to talk about things that could be wrong or things that might go wrong or any of that stuff. Tonight, it's all about talking about what I'm positive for and excited for in the home arcade and gaming space in 2023. Now, you guys know that I've been sick for the last little while. I can't seem to get better. I think there's something wrong with me. So, I've got some very special guests joining me tonight, surprise people here with me to talk about everything we're excited for in home arcade in 2023. And a little later, we're even going to do a little Ask Me Anything. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the show. This is definitely better than Monday Night Raw. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
B said he was going to be late, but he made it on time. God bless you, B.
I
You're
made
all right.
it. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the invite. But yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Awesome. And Glenn, I've only been harassing you now for about 2 years to come on my show again on Monday night. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and of course, like Stephen will tell you, late as usual.
And stuff is always broken.
Late equipment breakdowns, everything. And we've also got
retro.
We've got the Tech Buzz, Stephen Haywood. This kind of feels like a unofficial episode of the Retro Buzz. We're going to keep it buzzing, right, guys?
Yeah,
Buzz,
there
buzz.
you go. We'll go with that.
Or not. I don't really know. Do you want to call it something else? I'm open to anything here.
Well, it's up to Glenn. It's in his contract.
Hey, man, I say bring up the reunion. It's all good. Kongs makes a very good stand-in for Doug. They look pretty similar. It works.
Hey, I wanted to be Doug. I'm not as fit as him. I'm like 2 Dougs, but I'd like to be Doug.
So why is everybody in the chat room saying no sound? But I listen to it and I hear it.
Hey,
So I can hear it.
I don't know what they're talking about. If
It's
you have
sound. I
no
got sound here
sound,
too.
you should check to see if the video is muted.
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube has this thing. It's called a mute button.
All right. First thing Mike does is shame his audience. So
Oh, yeah,
there's no
that's how we
negativity
start.
tonight.
Well,
All
to be
positive.
fair, B, he has to treat everybody like Glenn. So that would be something Glenn would do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
Body issues.
So the idea tonight, guys, is let's talk about what we're excited about, the positive things. Let's try to spread some positivity instead of all the negativity that's usually spread in this space lately. B is always stirring up shit. He's a drama queen. Look at him. Stir it up, B. So what I wanted to do is, we know about so many things that are coming out from all these companies throughout this year. We can guess what's coming out. Some of us know more than others. And anyways, we'll keep that to ourselves. But of the things that we can talk about and we know about that are kind of out there in rumors and stuff like that, let's talk about what we're excited for. And don't worry, if a
Let's
company
talk
comes
about
up,
games, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the arcade games we're gonna play with B. Let's go talk, baby.
I don't think that's the lyrics to that song, Glenn, but it was pretty good. Anyways, if there is something that you're not excited for, you can abstain. You can just say, I don't care. It's totally fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Freedom of speech. What a novel idea, Michael.
It's crazy, right? Crazy. Anyways, I got a poll up there right now, and I asked people, because I wanted to be positive, to divide themselves and vote on what company had a product they were most excited for coming out in 2023 that they know of so far. And unsurprisingly, the company with the most products we know about, Arcade 1-Up, is currently in the lead. We're at 61 votes. We'll let that go a little bit further. So I'm not going to start there, though. I'm going to start with the smallest of all the companies, New Wave Toys. So we've all covered New Wave Toys at some point. Some of us have closer contacts than others with them. New Wave Toys has been doing some really good stuff. I got into them this past year. I love the Replicate line. The attention to detail is unreal. Of course, they're little tiny mini arcades, desk shit I call them. So the question is, we know Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts is coming out this year. I don't know if we know anything else. Like there's a roadmap, but we can guess what it's coming out. But right now we only know about Ghouls and Ghosts and Goblins. So
Oh, you know about.
that's all I know about exactly. So going by that, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, is this something you're excited about picking up this year? Let's start with you, Mr. Haywood.
No, I think it's a cool game. I mean, I think it's a very hard game. So unless you're
Yeah.
hooking it to a TV, I don't see how you're gonna even beat the thing. But I mean, they're fun to collect. I don't really play them. They usually sit right there. But am I super excited? I would love to see them do a pinball table.
Mechanical or virtual?
Mechanical. 100%
A mini
mechanical.
mechanical pinball table.
Yes. Yes. I would like to see it. And Shiloh, you still owe me because you said you were gonna do it.
That'd be tough.
I just saw like this 3D printed or like one of those 3D wood puzzles that becomes a pinball. It's been showing up on my Facebook feed. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of fun. But and even that looks crazy. I can only imagine what a 1/6 scale pinball machine would look like. Can you do a Build-A-Cade version of pinball at some point, Glenn? Is that something?
Well, I'm going to see. I'm not on the poll. You know, he didn't put me on the poll. But
Oh no,
well,
I'm
You
truth
love
be
sorry.
going on the
told,
poll.
truth
There's
be
only
told,
4 options, Glenn. I'm sorry. I was there typing them in.
truth be told, we are looking at doing a mini pinball. Actually, if
Oh,
anyone's been following my friend Gary, he's been in the small pinball forums working on some parts. So it's something we're looking at. The big problem is, again, with pinball, you know, you need really good processing power, right? So even a Raspberry Pi 4, I mean, you can kind of do it, but it's not going to be spectacular. So hope for the Raspberry Pi 5, or maybe if someone else comes out with an SBC. I can't think of who in this quad here might be coming out with an SBC, but maybe someone else would come out with an SBC that might be able to handle such a thing. Um, I will say it would be really awesome if a company did come out with like a 1/6 scale little pinball that actually worked. But man, it's not going to be easy. It's really not going to be easy. The current best pinball, in my opinion, right now, virtual pinball that we can afford is the AtGames Legends pinball line.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I just think they're doing the best job with it. I think that their boards generally work very well, and it's not easy. I take my hat off to PK and his team for getting a price point with a virtual pinball that we can actually afford and play with, you know, relatively good uh, feedback from the machine.
Yeah, it's interesting because realistically, Arcade One Up still has Arcade One Up pinballs for sale, but we don't know if they're going to make any more. I mean, realistically, David McIntosh talked about it on that Arcade One update, the first episode, and they're just in a bad situation because when they came out, they intended them to be $4.99, $5.99, and because of the pandemic and changes in pricing and stuff like that, it jumped up to $9.99 for them, which is a
Nuts.
price that these just can't sell at.
No,
So right
I can't
now,
imagine in Canada. Are they $9.99 or more in Canada? I mean,
$9.99 in Canada right
yeah,
now at
it's
retail. They
it's
originally
too much.
started out at $7.99.
And I can't, you know what, you can't fault even them with this because the chip shortage is still going on. We're talking going into our third year of semiconductor problems or supply chain issues, and it's just not looks like even this year might not be good for it, might go into 2024.
so I'm just sharing if you guys are seeing on screen. This is Scott Sloan's work, who
He
makes
does a great job.
1/4 scale pinball machines. These are the best mini functional machines. These are, I feel like, as small as you can get and still be somewhat functional as a VPin machine. 1/6 scale would be smaller than this, and he's running, I think, an Android box inside of
Right.
this. And it's still a dual screen setup with, I mean, look at that. You have a freaking Star Trek right there. It's really cool. So Scott, I've really wanted one of these. I don't know if he's shy about his asking price, but it's in the couple thousands to be able to
Yeah.
have them custom built for this.
But he
But
does
it's a lot of work.
beautiful work. He
It's
does beautiful work.
amazing. I so want one of these things. So I just wanted to share off. This could be the best bet if you're really looking at a mini pinball. But look at that. So much detail. Such good stuff. So
Whoa. A couple thousand for like a how small are these?
it's
They're
one
replicate
scale.
size. They're
Yeah.
around that size.
Things like 1800 to about like 2000 or so.
So
Custom
I've got a
built.
question for you. I'm gonna just take that off for a second, Glenn, because all our faces are covered up here now. I just want Glenn's covered up. No one needs to see that.
See, now you're learning.
So, anyways, I was thinking earlier when we talked about a mini mechanical pinball, that'd like be the most expensive replicate of all time, wouldn't it? I mean, how much would a mini mechanical pinball actually cost to make? If that's a mini virtual pinball, how much is a mini mechanical going to cost with all the bells and whistles?
Well,
Just
here's the
mini.
thing: what size you're talking about? Because you're talking about a mechanical pinball, and that scale, you're talking like watch parts, and
Yeah.
that stuff is just not gonna. It's not gonna last.
Yeah, but
Pinball,
Glenn, you remember Shiloh saying that he was looking into it and he was almost there. And that was almost a year and a half ago.
yes, and I don't want to. I can't comment anywhere along those lines. I will just say that a pinball of that size, from a mechanical standpoint, will be a nightmare.
So
Because
what you're saying is he's almost there without actually saying it. See, I knew I would get it out of you because I know a year and a half ago he promised it. He said he was going to do one.
Hey neighbor, I'm going to take the super chat down off the screen in a second, but just give me a minute here. Super chat $9.99. MB got me excited about home arcade. B got me excited about modding. Glenn gave me the parts to do that modding. Tech Buzz keeps me going with new ideas. You all have made positive impacts for me. Thank you very much, Gallagher Guy 88. And Gallagher Guy is coming to Cleveland. He's going to see all of us fine folk at the Cleveland Gaming Classic. So very excited to meet you, Gallagher Guy.
That should be a lot of fun.
we are going to ruin that town. That town's going to be.
Oh yeah, Cleveland's never going to be the same again.
Wait a second. Did you say the town is going to be destroyed? It's Cleveland. It already is destroyed.
We're going to clean up Cleveland.
Have you been to Cleveland?
No, I've never left New York, man. Come on.
Ever left New York? Never.
No, that's not true, but I'm lying.
Think of New York City and 10 times worse. Now it's Cleveland.
I'm near Poughkeepsie, New York, in Newburgh, like the bird capital of the world. So it's okay.
So I wanted to see what you thought about this. I mentioned this to Michael B, and I might have mentioned this to P-Dubs. But remember I did that video on Pastimes Arcade, which is probably about an hour from Cleveland. What if I could talk to them about letting us come in exclusively to play it? Just open it up to the content creators and whoever else is like coming to hang out with the content creators, and we go down to Pastimes Arcade and make a day of it and play games that you probably will never play the rest of your life.
I put it on our map, Mike. You're making fun of me for big Pastimes.
Did you put it
because it was so far out, B?
It is.
Also,
because they never gave an official opening date, but I kind of know in my head
he said around summertime-ish was a goal.
Yeah.
It also looked a little desolate from the outside.
On the map, it looks like just like a.
It looks like a warehouse.
It looks like you're going to go meet somebody from OfferUp to get stabbed.
No, it's an L-shaped warehouse. The thing is, they are a Stern distributor. So Stern's, so that's why they got a big old warehouse set up. But I'm going to talk to Mike and see if he can make that happen for us. Because when I was there, he said he'd like to do something like that, where the content creators could come in and play your favorite game. I know Glenn will be over at Computer Space. We won't be able to pry him off of it, but hey, the rest of us can play all the other things.
I'm pretty confident no one else will be on the machine, so it's okay.
Probably right.
Tell them they need a Robotron in working order.
They have Robotron.
And they need to get a spooky Halloween pinball because I have to try that out.
I believe they do have spooky. Yep. They have more.
How come you never told me about this? You're the worst event planner ever.
I'm terrible at planning stuff. I just have this giant spreadsheet that I got to find an hour and a half trip to get out to Pastimes and back. It's tight. I don't know. There's so many people that are going. I'm actually getting a little flustered thinking about, are we going to be spending that much time at the convention center? Last time when we went to Chicago, there was like events that we were going to. This is like a convention. So really, you go there and everybody could just pretty much be doing their own thing. Like we don't have to be walking around as a giant cohort the entire time, right? Everybody.
But what if we were?
Just one big giant,
like one big giant mass going through the whole place.
I would do my proper role and hold a little flag that says, "Hello, everybody, follow me, tour guide over here."
So, I think the Cleveland Gaming Classic has like an arcade area set up right there. So I would imagine that's where I'm going to spend most of my time. Like I'm going to go up to Kerry Hoskins and say, I loved you when I was like 20. So, or no, I was more like 14, 15. And after that, I'm going right to the arcades.
Well, you guys may have to visit me because they're going to have me in the antique section up on the wall.
Are you actually going to be tied to a booth?
Well, I won't be tied to the booth. I'll have one, but I won't be tied to it.
Okay.
And we got some people here in the chat I think are going too. Biggie D's Arcade is going. Outrun the Neon Sun. Guys, if you're going to the Cleveland Gaming Classic, hit us up. Let us know. There's also going to be some of the companies there, which I keep talking about Cleveland Gaming Classic, and I don't talk about this. iArcade is going to be there. Michael Zvrabek. I keep saying his name wrong, but I'm trying my best.
Jerome.
What? Jerome. Michael Jerome Zvrabek.
Yeah.
And he might have his mustache back by then. If you want him to have a mustache, put a 1 in the chat.
He's a fun
And
dude.
also,
What a great story.
AtGames are going to be there. I don't know who from AtGames are going to be there, but AtGames are going to have a booth set up. Sorry, guys, I'm dying.
Yeah, they're
here.
supposed to be giving crap away. That's part of the deal here for me doing the live stream. So they better make it good and give away like the 4K pinball or the 4K Legends
I thought they were
Ultimate.
giving away P-Dub stickers.
They are giving away P-Dub
Well, if
stickers.
that's the case, you'll never get them. So we might as well. Oh, wait. We have to be positive, right? Okay,
right.
so
Yeah.
if P-Dubs is giving away stickers, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, you're never going to get them.
You're never,
Never.
you're never going to get them.
So, Glenn, I saw a post from the Cleveland Gaming Classic today. They're looking for game developers to go. You should talk to your buddies over at New Wave Toys and see if they want to come too. I think that'd be a good venture for them to pop out.
I've actually talked to them and a few other people, and they're trying, but they're very busy. New Wave Toys right now is like knee deep in so many projects right now.
Yeah.
But they're looking into it.
Glenn, what projects are they?
There are these 1/6 scale projects and all different kinds.
But what kind of projects are they? Can you give us a little bit more detail?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They got Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, Space Ace, 2 versions of Space Ace.
Have there
Uh-huh.
ever been
So-
any GRS products that would be in a New Wave Toys product?
Ooh.
No. No, but you never know. As John would always say, there's always possibilities. There's always possibilities.
All right, so New Wave Toys, I've become a big fan of them the last little while. I got a couple review cabs. That's how I first got into them because the shipping was stupid expensive here to Canada. So they sent me out Missile Command, which I didn't like the screen on. The Missile Command screen, that new TV filter, everything else about the cabinet's amazing. That screen filter kind of bothered me. I got Food Fight, which I need to open up tomorrow. I'm filming for a review, and I just did Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair Replicate Overhaul Edition is so freaking good, man. Like, what an amazing product they made there. I like it so much. I've gone back. I bought 1942, so I'm
And that's a
in
deal.
now. I'm going to
How
start
much,
picking
how
them
much
up.
did you get 1942 for?
I think I bought it off Amazon for $90 US.
I think even
think-
right now you can get it off New Wave Toys site for like around $80 or something like that.
Yeah.
Low
So
boy?
it's
Yeah,
a good deal.
that's a good one.
It's such a wild little cabinet too. I had to get it. I couldn't let it slip by.
And what's good about them is, not all the cabinets, but some have the HDMI out and USB controllers. And the little controllers they make are really, really good. Like if you even bought they had a sale going for like $5 for the Street Fighter joystick. You can use it with all kinds of things, including the Build-A-Cade. It would work. They make really nice little controllers. They're fantastic little ones, and they're not expensive when you get them on sale.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk really quickly about Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. Stephen, what you said about, this is not it's a really hard game, so you're probably not going to play them. And you got to understand there's an element of playing them, but realistically, it's just for like, these are just such an awesome collector's piece.
Oh yeah,
Everything is
100%.
exactly like the arcade.
Yeah.
Like it's a cool addition. You can actually play them, but you're more so buying these to have like, that little replica arcade in your house. It's a decoration with the added benefit of playing. That's the way I always look at Replicate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing
No,
Stephen
I
would
agree.
tell you, I didn't mean to interrupt, but these are like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
If you even buy them now and hold on to them, they go up in value. Just look at eBay. So even if you buy them and change your mind, you will get your money back and then some. That's how good they are.
Yeah, I actually have. Let me see. Let me grab my handy dandy remote here. Let's see if I can do this. Whoop, let's go this way. So I have all mine lined up right under there. Like you can't see the other one because my monitor's in the way. But you gotta see, like when we have game night, sometimes I light them all up and they just sit there, and then I'll recharge them. But they sit right over there on that nice step. So as I get more, I'm gonna kind of fill that up. But 100%, Mike. The only one I really use is the change machine because I have it sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
and it works great for charging like my PlayStation controllers, my Switch controllers, my Xbox controllers, my phone. Like that's awesome. Like I love that thing.
The other thing I like about New Wave toys too, I make the joke desk shit all the time, but it's a true statement. Like it's a conversation piece. Like if I go into the office sometimes, I'm going to be in there. I work from home mostly now, but if I go into the office, I'm going to be there for a couple hours. I might take one of these little arcades there. I can mess around with it from time to time, and someone comes in, they're like, "Oh, that's so cool!" So yeah, there's an element like that too. It's something you can mess around with, but it's also just cool to have on your desk.
It's an absolute conversation piece. Absolutely. And like I said, even if you keep it on for a while, use it for a while, you throw it up on eBay, you will make the money back. So it's not something you'll lose money on for sure.
I think the
You
coolest.
only get remorse when you can't buy it, like Steven. He didn't buy all these other
don't
ones in the beginning. You know, buyer's
Cubert. I know
remorse.
I was gonna get Cubert, and I didn't. But
Yeah,
but
Cubert's gone now.
but the coin mech on it was really something that I was wondering how long it was going to take for them to try to figure something out with that. But I thought
It's
that was
not
kind of cool. Like you might not
it's not
use it,
too
but
hard to do when you think about it, because all you need to do is put in the same type of circuit would put in for the old optical mice. So all you got to do is once the coin goes through that little IR sensor, there's your register. But I'm glad they did it. And you know what? I think what people are going to complain that anyone got to play it. You got to stick a coin and you keep dropping the coins, losing your coins. So I watch those complaints, and I'm calling it now. People will complain now that the coin mechanism is more of a pain than just pressing the button.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this altogether, and I can't believe I forgot about this. But Zoltar, like that was something right out of left field, kind of like the Coke machine. Goofy Foot's asking about it. What happened to the New Wave Toys Coke machine? Wasn't it supposed to be released months ago? They're held up, kind of like Space Ace. We just gotta wait. I don't have a better answer than that. But also, Zoltar is coming out. Did anybody pre-order Zoltar when it was available?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
That I
Not for
have
you,
nostalgia
Steven?
for. I didn't have nostalgia for Ghosts and Goblins though, so it's just one of
Yeah.
those hit or miss things with these cabinets. They look great, but if you don't have that nostalgia for that cabinet, they're not one of those like you must-have things. So I've been kind of picky about their selection, and they've been doing like what one new cab a year, so it's kind of like
Not anymore. Now they're
yeah.
kind of dumping a few more out.
Are they? Okay, well,
Yeah.
good. Well, like now that we know that they could have a roadmap and they could keep
It
going, I'm
it's
like
out
with
there, B.
you like the 80s style cabinets, Mike. I'm waiting for them to do like some more
Oh
90s
yeah,
stuff.
there we go. Here
Some
we go.
more good stuff.
There's
I
I heard
still
a
want
so
rumor.
much
Donkey
to do in
Kong.
the
I
80s.
want Frogger. I want.
Well, Donkey Kong, I don't know. Frogger, maybe. I heard a rumor they're doing Fast and the Furious B, and it's linkable.
Oh yeah. And they got the rights to use Vin Diesel and Paul Walker.
No, they only got the rights to use Vin Diesel.
Only. Yes,
Yeah.
I am Groot. I'm Groot.
Anyways, yeah, New Wave Toys doing a lot of cool stuff. So I'm gonna throw something up in the chat while I make the loudest clicky keyboard noises in the entire world typing this up. You guys keep people entertained while I end this poll. And Arcade One Up one at 42%. I'm gonna put a new poll up. You guys talk amongst yourselves as we move into iArcade. Now, iArcade is also a bit of an oddity because iArcade doesn't really have anything out there. There's no real roadmap right now for what they're doing. The only things we really know about is at some point there's a new UI coming. At some point, Operation Wolf is coming and maybe some other shooters. But other than that, it's a mystery. Well, we also know about the open accessory platform. Glenn, your stuff is coming out relatively soon. So you guys just talk about it. What are you excited about for iArcade? Or is there nothing that you're really excited about? Where are you two with iArcade? Let's start with you, B Kong.
Well, Pong is now Rebound, so they're no stranger to like renaming products if it's not working out or causing confusion, which is nice.
I said that the other night. I was like, how are they getting away with calling this Jong Pong? That's got to be trademark.
Yeah, so but I was actually doing some modding on my arcade. So Glenn, remember way back when I installed your 4-way to 8-way switchable gate, the ones and so I never finished the installation because I didn't drill out that bottom portion of the panel. So I finally was like, I have all these parts, I'm gonna finish it out. So now I have it fully installed. I even punched the hole in the front because I have a little shiny button there. But I was
How do you like it?
I like it a lot. I was testing it out some gameplay like Burger Time. I was doing some eggs to see if my four-way gate works better by just the press of a button. So plug for the GRS gate switcher. It's one of those cabinets that I think really works if you're multicade. I was trying to figure out if I can get it to like turn on with the power because I have to have it externally powered. So I was gonna
Yeah.
check out with you because otherwise the button's all lit up. I'm gonna do some crazy stuff. But I was like playing with it yesterday, and it was one of the first times in a long time I've turned it on to check it out. I really like Saturn. The free games they've been adding in the last year have been pretty decent. So in
Yeah.
terms of a roadmap, if to get people enticed, maybe that is a thing to bring people back. Saturn, Satine, whatever it was called, was great. And I'm gonna try Rebounds later today. If it's free, that might be their way to get people back interested in at least checking out what else is on the platform.
So Citrine, the version that's on Steam is Citrine Deluxe. The version that's on iArcade is the original, which was also a free game. So I think that was a smart move for them not to try to charge for it. And I don't think there's that much difference between Citrine and Citrine Deluxe. I have Citrine Deluxe on Steam, but I've never played it. Steam is a terrible, terrible wasteland of my money where I just keep buying games and then never play them.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I actually got an was it the Meta 2?
Yeah, Oculus
I've had it
Quest
for like
2,
2
Meta
weeks now.
Quest
It's
2.
still sitting in the box wrapped. Haven't even gotten out of the box yet. So I
Glenn,
feel your
that's like
pain.
95% of your collection, though.
That's true.
Glenn, I told you that on Instagram. You got to take it out of the bag to experience
I know,
it.
and I
I'm
really
just
want to. I
saying.
really want to play this thing. I just haven't had the opportunity, and that's the hard part. When you're an adult, you're not a kid anymore. You have responsibilities. You got to pay the bills, and you never get to it. But I want to play it so bad.
Richard Odello says leaderboard's difference on the free Saturn, I believe. All right, so I'm going to start first here with this one. What I'm excited about with iArcade, this is kind of a no-brainer. I'm excited for the light guns, the Sinden light gun technology coming to iArcade. Being able to play Operation Wolf, that's exciting, but I'm also excited to see what other games they have there. I'm a sucker for this. When it comes to iArcade, I don't just want to play retro arcade games on this thing. I want to play more modern games, and I'm excited that there's some more modern type shooters that they can port to this and have it working. So that's what I'm excited about for iArcade. It's kind of a reach, but I'm going for it anyways. What about you, Glenn?
Well, I agree. But I like to see some. I know I'm an old school guy, but I would like to see a little more of the newer games, only because the iArcade touts the powerful processor, and I haven't really seen a lot of stuff taking advantage of it. There's some good games that can get on there, but I am looking forward to the Sinden support. I'm obviously looking forward to my device going on there, so they can have more games with trackballs and spinners and so forth. So I'm looking forward to those games coming out. Um, but I'm gonna be honest, I mostly play the iArcade and that game Legends. I go for the multicades at this point. I know behind me, Steve was saying before, I have my asteroids over there. I might be off camera right now. So there's a couple of games I do like to look like that machine because that's the nostalgia part. You want to go and walk up to a machine you really enjoyed. But for the most part, I go for the arcade for some of the games that I can't really get anywhere else, like Donut Dodo. I can go and get it in other spots, but it's available on there, so I play that and I get it on the arcade. And if it's just some wacky game I download on a ROM, I may go to the AtGames Legends. Um, but I really think iArcade has to really step up a little bit with their releases. They've been coming out, but a little too on the thin side, and they've been quietly, a little too quiet. They need to
Yeah.
step up and let the fans know that they're there, they're active, and they're working on projects. Um, that's it.
I think with iArcade, like one of the problems is they got burned so bad with Mutant Football League that there's almost like a gun shyness now to talk about projects that are possibly going to come out in the future. Like once they have something locked down that they know they can do, kind of like the Taito games they've done so far, Space Invaders, now Operation Wolf. It's only a matter of getting the licensing approved. There's not going to be some kind
And
of
that's what takes a
catastrophic
lot of the
glitch,
time.
right?
And you're right. Getting the license is one thing. Getting the approval now for the game to be released is another. So that could be a frustration as well. Not just getting that license, getting it for a good deal. You make the game or get the game ported, they still have to be final approval. Until they give the thumbs up, you still can't release it. So that's a hard thing to work with as well.
What about you, Steven? Anything from iArcade you're excited about?
Yeah, I'm really excited that
To sell it.
hopefully. I was just gonna say you stole my thunder. I was excited to hopefully be able to sell it in the next 6 months. That's what I'm excited for the most. If I can get it sold, it's been on sale for 4 months, and I had
Is
one
there
hit on it.
anything they
And
could do to get you to keep it? Is a good question.
no, I know. I was gonna go that direction. Like I'm with you, B. I want more modern games on this. Like I have enough arcade one up and AtGames machines that I can play the retro till the cows come home. And I know we joke about um, the beach buggy racing, but I was actually genuinely excited for that because it was
Like
more
beach buggy
modern.
racing. Yeah.
Well, it was more modern. It was a modern kart game, right?
Yeah.
So I think that if they could possibly do some more modern games that I don't have already on some of my other cabinets, that would compel me to keep it.
Yeah.
It really would, because then I would have something that none of my other machines could do.
Do you know how I sold my original iArcade? What I had to actually stoop to sell it?
That's what I'm afraid of. You're gonna have to almost give it away, right?
Free
Nope.
delivery.
No, I put in the ad that it only had one previous owner, P-Dubs Arcade Loft, sold immediately.
well, I could probably get P-Dubs to sign mine. I wonder if that would work.
That's
Carlo,
the trick.
you can.
All
Aren't
right.
you driving to Cleveland? Carlo can take it from you.
Wait, Carlos? What? Who's Carlos?
He's
Carl O.
says,
Oh,
"Bring it to
Carl.
Cleveland.
Carl.
He will buy it
He
from
wants
you."
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants one. There you go. You got a buyer.
Like your co-host, Carl?
No, Carl O in the chat.
Oh, that Carl O. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. I was looking at
Now,
something else.
Carlos is the guy you're going to meet from Offer Up that's going to stab you by Pastimes Arcade.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay, I was just wondering. So Carl O, I have a truck. I could throw it in the back of the truck if he's serious.
Or broken in a deal. What did you put it up for? I'm curious. What's the asking price?
Believe it or not, I put it up for $300.
Okay.
And I'm willing to give all the games that are on it. We just got to switch over the username and password. That's the only thing, you can log in and have every
And
game
keep your
that's
credit
on
card on there.
But you have a lot of people coming
When?
to your arcade, right,
What's
Steven?
that?
You have a
What's
lot
that?
of people coming over to your arcade, like kids and other
Yeah.
folks. Like
Nobody plays it.
But my kids, once they turn it on, they're games that they recognize more from like their tablet stuff. So they're attached to like MouseBot and like other things too. Like they ask to go on the iArcade.
Yeah, but your kids are a lot younger, right? My kids are like 14 and 10.
Okay. I have an 11-year-old that's like,
Okay. They
playing
play
on
like
that.
Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the epitome of the game. Like when they come down here, they've been actually obsessed with Ice Age, the pinball table on the AtGames
Really?
pinball. That they're trying to beat my I think I got 118 billion points on the Darth Vader on the arcade 1-up pinball, and they're trying to also beat my high score on Spider-Man on the arcade 1-up. So the pinballs get played more than anything as of late in the arcade here. Next would be Dig Dug, Galaga, and then the traditional Pac-Mans.
Yeah.
All
Then-
70 of them.
The Simpsons gets played not for the beat 'em up, but for the Simpsons bowling.
But it's so easy. It's almost pointless.
It is easy. We can bowl 300s all the time. But then they play the bowling on coin ops on the Legends, because it's a lot tougher.
Yeah.
So they'll get warmed up there and then they'll come over there. But honestly, those are the ones that they play the most. NBA Jam's another one that I would consider getting rid of too, because it's collected more dust than it's collected coins.
Yeah.
That's sad. I still have my NBA Jam XL. I like it a lot, but I don't have people over. That's one of the other reasons where it made it easy for me to say I can get rid of my arcade. Since the pandemic, I've had a lot less people over, and one of the people I did have over were my nephew and my niece, but unfortunately my brother and his girlfriend split up, and she moved out of province, and she took my nephew with her. So, I mean, he doesn't come over anymore. So it's just no one else is coming over. I have this arcade just for me. So sometimes it felt like a little bit of a waste. Not that it was ever a waste, but you know what I mean? An arcade is something that should be enjoyed by
Yes.
multiple people.
Right.
And I said I wouldn't have 90% of what I have in here if I didn't have people coming over. I would have sold it by now.
There's a guy in Canada you guys have probably never come across by. He goes by Arcade Boy QC, and he started out just having a basement arcade like all of us, picked up the arcade one-ups and stuff like that. He actually hosts parties right now where he DJs, he streams it on Twitch. He actually takes like reservations for people to come over to his house for the weekends. He's added in some real arcades and stuff like that. It's wild. Like honestly, he has to take bookings because it's always packed every weekend.
I've actually had some local people ask if they could rent this out. I mean, obviously I could be here, but they said for like their kid's birthday party and different stuff like that. So I haven't said yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, that has been the question that has come up.
Problem with renting it out though with these machines, I mean, these
They'll-
are home
they'd
use. They're home use.
These kids.
They're not consumer grade. Like if you have Tron, for example, more than likely the stick is probably going to break.
Nope. I have Glenn's stick on it.
Ah, there you go.
So I'm good. We're all set up on
My
that.
stick is like this.
We did it before the inevitable breaking happened. Glenn told me how to do it. I what was the one I pre-ordered? The brand new one, the $20 one that you had?
Yeah, I remember though when you called me, you're like, Glenn, I can't get this thing in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like looking at him, like, what the heck? Somehow his didn't break, but the locking mechanism part got stuck. Like, you pull the stick out. I'm like, how'd you pull the stick out and leave that in? It's like Frank above the beans. How'd you get the Frank above the beans? How'd you do that?
So guys, this is kind of a surprise here. So I'm going to end the poll here a little bit early for New Wave Toys because I want to get the iArcade one up before we finish. But do you know what the product people here in the chat are the most excited for? Zoltar beat out Ghouls and Ghosts and Ghosts and Goblins. Can you believe that? The Zoltar machine actually is the product they're the most excited
I'm actually a little
about.
surprised, but it is a cool machine. I have to
Yeah.
say, in Playland in Rye, right by me, there was a Zoltar. I mean, ever since I was growing up going to Playland, there was always a Zoltar there. My son knows Zoltar. For the last 2 years, they took it away. Zoltar's been gone from Playland. No more big.
I think it's that nostalgic fun factor, right? I think more people know of it. It's a little bit more pop culture icon than Ghosts and Goblins because I don't think I've ever seen a Ghosts and Goblins in my arcade.
I only played it on the NES, both of them, NES and Sega.
I was about to say that. The thing about Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts, it's such a cool, iconic game, but it's more known for, obviously, their console ports. But on top of that, those arcade machines are rarities. Like, they're oddities in the arcade. So this is a weird piece of arcade history that isn't really going to have the nostalgia for a lot of people unless you went to a bizarre arcade that actually had one.
That's one reason I haven't gotten rid of my Final Fight cabinet.
I love Final Fight.
I like Final Fight too, but it has Ghouls and Ghosts on it. So
I got to play that cabinet for the first time. I borrowed it from Outrun the Neon Sun to do a mod, and I was really impressed. It's been so long since I played with the Gen 1 cabinet. Man, those monitors are crisp for old versions of TN monitors. I was trying to look at the angles because, we went through Monitor Gate, but yeah, I get it now. Those Gen 1 cabinet monitors,
some of them
really
are
good.
So
the Final Fight was really good.
The Final Fight one's good. If I showed
really
you if I showed you the original Galaga or the 12-in-1, you'd be like, ugh.
You got to remember with Final Fight and like Mortal Kombat,
Dude,
those
there you
screens
go.
are better, but they were Wave 2. They weren't Wave 1. So I don't know if the monitor changed a little bit. And you know what the funny thing is? If you look at those screens that are in the new ones, like I still have my Pac-Mania cabinet, even Mortal Kombat, it's the exact same product that was in the original Arcade 1-Up cabinet. It's the exact same monitor. They ordered the exact same one with the exact same, I don't know what it's called, barcode. They just didn't understand the company had changed the backlighting in the monitor. That's the only difference. It's the same monitors they used in Wave 1 and Wave 2. It's just the backlighting shit the bed, and they had no idea. And then by the time it was done, they ordered like 1 million monitors and said, well, now what the hell do we do? You're going to find them in a landfill next to ET somewhere, aren't you?
That should be the next topic. Where will we all be in 10 years from now? Right?
I'll be in a landfill for sure.
I know. 5 years.
I don't know. I think these machines will last
10 years.
I think they'll last. I think they will. I mean, I still have Gen 1s that are still going strong. I had a few anomalies of things that went bad. Actually, I've had more problems with the newer cabinets, honestly. Opening them up and having things not work right out of the box. The Gen 1s, for the most part, and at least with what I bought, didn't really have any issues with.
So I know we're not talking about Arcade One Up yet, but I'm planning to do a review of my Class of 81, the deluxe cabinet, and I have like my huge complaint. My main like topper grabber is like the worst thing about this cabinet, and it has to do with the longevity of it. So I revealed the other day the monitor and the control panel is a single piece design,
Yeah.
right? But can you imagine however many years from now when something breaks in the control panel, people have to remove the entire piece to be able to change out anything. I did it myself just to see it, and it's the stupidest design because a part, a joystick, a button, something's going to break at some point, and it's just a pain in the butt to remove that much stuff to get to it. At first I was like, oh, this is simpler, but then I thought about it and I was like, it's a terrible long-term design. I think Arcade One's going to be sending out monitor/control panels to tons of people because something's broken on a control panel part, and they have to ship it in one piece now.
Yeah, that was a weird design decision. I guess it was just too many cuts. The guy at the factory, they were like, we can lay off the guy who cuts that piece of wood right there.
Yeah, it was interesting design choice. So yeah, it's like my biggest complaint about it. But if they do keep doing recessed monitors, like I worry if this is like the next trend, because the 5-10 year conversation for this. Yeah, I don't know many people are going to want to take apart their whole cabinet just to put in the monitor control panel.
B, we were trying to do a positive stream here, not talking negative about
I'm
any
sorry,
of these
but I
companies.
really
What the
do
hell,
like
man?
the sticker that I made to complete the waterfall.
Yeah, that's a good sticker.
That was a cool sticker. Yeah,
That was the mod of the year.
stickers.
I think this is just a, I hate to say it, but the retro is here to stay. But I think the home arcade thing's a fad. I think it's because they're not gonna be able to keep up.
Well,
And
I blame B.
I
This is
called it.
B's
No, I
fault.
don't.
I'm telling you, look, it's all going negative now. We're
I
spiraling out of
told-
control.
I told Steven way back on the early show.
He did.
I've said it a few
Drama.
times,
I'm a
that
drama guy. What can I
the
say?
market's gonna get saturated,
Shitster.
and I do think it's getting saturated. They're running out, and you can't keep rehashing the same, Pac-Mans and Mortal Kombat, just changing the design. They got to come up with more machines than that. So I think the market's starting to get saturated. We have a lot of companies in here right now fighting for your money, my money, and there was my worry way back when. I've said it multiple times. I think we have too many players at this point, and eventually, what's going to happen is some are going to disappear. I mean, look at Toy Shock. They still make pinball machines. I have no idea.
They
Are they
do.
around
Wait,
anymore?
what?
They do. They
Toy
were at
Shock still around?
CES.
They what?
Okay.
They were at CES.
Toy Shock.
Toy Shock ran into a bad situation where they got an inventory shortage. So what happened was right around the time they were releasing their second wave of their pinball machines, the regular pinball machines, and the smaller pinball machines, they had a big order from Canada. They fulfilled that order, but then couldn't get another order out to go in the US. So they've had inventory locked in Canada for like the last 2 years. And unfortunately, the price point was way too high in Canada to make it reasonable. And they just didn't have any inventory for the US, but they were at CES and we're patiently awaiting them to come back. I mean, it's going to be hard for them. They were the first out of the gate and they made an okay product, but then everything else came out and just killed them. Like the minute that
They raised the price.
they raised the price was not a good idea because like that's
Mm-mm.
one of the key pieces was it was such a cheap and easy introduction into the world of virtual pinball, but trying to compete against products that were just better. I mean, the AtGames Legends Pinball destroyed them. They destroyed
Right.
Well Play Arcade because they had every Gottlieb game. They had every Zachariah game. So, what would you rather play it on? The Beast that runs at 1080p with, a 32-inch screen? Nah, there's no way they could keep up. It's just sad.
That was something that sold quick. My Toy Shock.
Really?
Yep. I put it for $250, but still.
Well, there's why. Yeah.
Well,
Actually-
I only paid $3.99 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like the UI design of that. It was probably the simplest pinball UI that I've seen on any of the pinball machines, just to get in, see the table. So I thought that was the best feature of the Toy Shock. Everything else was kind of meh about it. I'm surprised where the chat is leaning towards in terms of the iArcade poll. Like user interface is such a huge deal. I
Yeah.
can't believe that's not the number one thing people are more excited about because you can play light games on so many other things besides iArcade. But iArcade, it's like a small percentage of people that could even use the light gun on the iArcade so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Us Gen 1 guys were out of luck, so that's another reason, another compelling reason for me to sell the arcade. If you have a
But
Gen 1 cabinet, any of these add-ons will be null and void for you. You will
not
not be able to
any,
use them.
not any of them, but the light
99%
guns,
of them.
the light guns are going to be tough because realistically, unless there's some way that you can get access
Bluetooth
to,
light gun game, Glenn? Are you gonna make a peripheral? Bluetooth light guns?
Well, actually, we are working with Sinden, and we'll have an announcement soon with that. But making a light gun to work over Bluetooth or anything like that is not as easy as people think. The latency is the biggest problem with Bluetooth and
Drag.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not that's impossible, but I don't think it's gonna be a great experience going over that type of wireless technology with the gun. There's RF would be better, it's faster, but I don't think it's gonna be the right way to go with that. Better for the wired connection.
so is there no way that with your control panel, will your control panel work with the original iArcade or is it just for the Gold?
Actually, yeah. So originally we were gonna make two separate control panels, and then we went back and forth, and we decided it's better to have one SKU. So we're gonna release one control panel that's identical on both. The Bluetooth will be built in, so you can have that on the Gold, but also on the Legacy. So uh, we also are going to make some other options as well. We're definitely doing the two joysticks, the trackball. I got one right here. The trackball, the spinners, the 4 8-gate switchers, USB ports in the front, and expansion ports for other peripherals that could be attached later. But it's still going to be difficult with the Legacy. I mean, Bluetooth is just there's going to be some issues. I
Yeah.
think personally with it, no matter what you do. So I think the best experience would be with the Gold, regardless. Um, but it'll work, and maybe okay, but that'll be up to the end
But
user to see if they like it or not.
but how much down the road is it before these peripherals and things become available? I mean, this
Oh,
has been
easy.
ongoing for
That's
the
easy.
last year and a
November
half.
of 2022.
But I'm saying this has been ongoing for the last year and a half. I
Yeah,
mean, this is, and I'm not blaming you, but I feel
I'm
like
ready. I've been
I'm
ready.
just
Take my
I'm just
stuff,
gonna go
people.
there. The CEO would rather be dancing and karaokeing drunk than trying to get this stuff done, man. Like
We
I
could share
just,
some. I missed
you
out on the
know,
guy's party last time.
I'm sorry, but like for all the iArcade fans, like you guys should be questioning this.
Well,
Why is
I
all the
think a lot of
rumors going
people.
around
I think a
that
lot of the
iArcade's going to
fans.
die in June? Why is nobody talking about that? Why is
Well, this is what
nobody
happened to
Where,
speaking
what
where,
about
happened to be
where are the
positive,
rumors
Michael.
coming
Michael,
from?
this is not positive.
It's all over Reddit. It's all over everywhere that iArcade will be lucky to be in business in June. That's another reason. I got to get rid of this thing before it depreciates even more than it's
Well,
already
I
depreciated.
will say that I
So I'm
personally have
paying
seen a
attention to
lot
that
of the
stuff.
people who are, big fans and touters of it have sold off their machines. I mean,
Yeah.
it's happened. Um, I can't say I blame them. There's other ways to do it, but I have said it before, and I'll say it again. I think iArcade needs to step up relatively quickly. They had a window with a more powerful processor, but now AtGames has their next gen machine. You can upgrade their processor in it. So the window is really shrinking fast. So hopefully Zhang will pull something out of the hat relatively soon.
Well, I'm
So
glad to see we have an expert in Kevgret in the chat room here. Um,
I
I'm
haven't
glad you
seen
could confirm
Kevgret
that.
on my show in forever. I'm so happy to see him. I will tell you that I know where that rumor comes from, and that rumor is being spread out there. I don't know if it's true,
Well, listen,
but
I'm kind of being facetious when I say that, but it just seems like you can't even sell this. People are like, "Oh, is it like Arcade One Up? Does it?" No, you install games, you got to buy games. Oh, I don't want it.
well, there's that. But there's also Glenn, how'd you get here?
He's
Oh, Kevgret, I'm
streaming.
so sad. I missed you, buddy. And I'm not being funny there. I literally did. You're still a moderator on my show. So, Glenn, you're streaming this too. You hijacked me, Glenn.
He
I
You
did.
hijacked me.
I did. It's what I do, man. Remember,
He's
it's all about
shilling.
me. It's always
He's
about me.
shilling.
Oh wait, I gotta go live on my channel too now. There we go. Let's.
I didn't even know. I was wondering what all these paired comments were coming up. What does paired mean? Hijacked.
And I did it without a keyboard, so figure that one out.
That's impressive. So I did want to talk about that rumor that's out there, and this is supposed to be positive, Stephen. I'm still blaming
positive.
you. So there was a rumor about a specific kind of funding that iArcade had access to that was supposed to give them ability to go get new games and stuff like that. But the rumor is that this funding requires results within a certain amount of time. So everybody's bringing up these rumors about the company going out of business because they have a very specific deadline to repay this funding. I don't know what it's called, like Schedule 2 funding or something like that. But these are rumors that people are just stating. Like, we don't know any of this stuff. We don't have that information. Now, if there's people from inside the company that want to comment on it, fine. But like everything I've heard so far has been just craziness.
But I think there comes a point where even the most fanboy of fanboys of iArcade, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, everybody has their loves for what cabinets, right? It's kind of like the arcade one-up enthusiast, right? It comes to a point where you're just like, you're sick of it because they're not doing anything new. They're not changing the game, so to speak. There comes a point where I think with the iArcade that people go, I just can't buy into this ecosystem anymore. I can't just hang on, you know. Glenn, we joked it was like a year and a half ago we've been talking about these new peripherals. You've been ready to go. So at what point do you lose interest as a guy that's developing for this platform, being told like, yeah, we're going to do this, and then it's crickets?
The thing for me is, I'm not doing it for anything other than the community. The
Of
arcade
course.
has a community like
Yeah.
everyone else. I'm here to help them out as best I can. There's just so many things. Again, I make my own products too. There's all kinds of issues that you run into, especially when you're a small company. I mean, iArcade is not a huge company.
Let's be clear. None of these home arcade companies, except for AtGames, is. Believe it or not, AtGames is like the biggest company out of the three.
It is. And and I take my hat off. They turn themselves around. I mean, AtGames used to be the product that was like a joke, and they're not anymore. I mean, PK's done a great job. But when you have a smaller company, your funds are limited, your supply chains are limited. If you're buying parts and a larger company's buying parts, well, the larger company's getting the parts over you for sure. So, it just comes down to how long you're willing to wait. And I understand people saying that they're ready to move on with their stuff, and it happens. All I could say is, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for everyone, and I'll do the best that I can. And when it happens, it happens. I've been ready since November. So
there's your positive, Michael B. He's ready.
Yay!
He's been ready, and he's here for the long haul. So there you go. There's your positive.
B Kong, this is your goddamn fault.
No, I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited about their UI interface. I mean, Michael actually did mention that is now next on their priority list, is to get towards that. And so that was the first I've heard from them. Like, I'm so excited about the UI changes. Somebody said it, but that was like my number one biggest complaint.
Be careful, it could be worse than what they have now.
But I'm still excited to see what it is. I'm genuinely curious that 3 years into owning the product,
look at
I'm
AtGames.
finally gonna get it.
Look at AtGames.
Yeah, there's nothing that they could ever do with that ecosystem.
Okay, so I will say this with iArcade. What I'm excited for the light guns, because honestly, I'm excited to have a light gun you can just point at the screen and just shoot. Like, I have the AtGames Legends Ultimate with the aim track. I hate having the sensor bar up there. I just don't like it. I'd rather just take my Wii out and play House of the Dead 2 on my Wii on a TV.
Yeah, there you go.
But I like the Sin and light guns on the iArcade. I got a chance to test them out at the Game and Brew last year. It wasn't where it should be at the time, but I'm guessing it's been like a year later. So it should be working a little bit better now. And I'm excited to see what new games they add. Also, I'm excited to see a new user interface. At some point, the user interface has got to come up, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. Right now, it's really text-based, and it's just not pretty. So, that'd make a world of a difference. But I will say this. I think iArcade's been playing it safe. They've brought a lot of really good quality games. The games are good. They're fun, but nothing with a ton of name recognition other than classic arcade games. Obviously, they brought Moon Patrol. but I'd really like to see them take a swing, like go out there, take a risk. You know, instead of low risk, low reward, high risk, high reward, go get something that's a massive name recognition game and just
I agree.
bam, hit it.
I agree. Even something like Fortnite, you know, just
Yeah.
to get people just to get on the machine, offered even for free.
Yeah.
Something like that. They need it. I agree.
Yeah, like if you remember back when the NES and consoles were coming out back then, it was right after the crash. They had to sell them differently. Like when the NES first came out, they didn't even put video game on the box. It was the entertainment system or
system.
deluxe set.
Entertainment deluxe set.
Yeah. So they wanted to build it up as something different. But one of the things was it was all about having a packing game, which was the console seller, right? And like
Killer app. Gotta have your killer app.
you got to have your killer app, and it was also your console, and that killer app was kind of like a loss leader because they would get the console out at less than what they were hoping for, and then make their all their money back on software. And I think iArcade doesn't have a lot of consoles to sell right now, so maybe they don't really need to do that, but they need to get people excited, energized, willing to go out and buy some of these other games.
To be fair, they don't have any arcades for sale.
No, they don't. That's a little bit concerning.
They do. I think one's in your basement, Stephen.
Oh, that's true. So if anybody's looking to buy one, okay, I think we're going to start the bidding at $300. So if you want one, get in touch with me if you're coming to Cleveland. And I'm being serious. $300. First one that emails me, I will bring it to Cleveland with me. To be fair, and I know he's going to get into the subject later. If it's not being played, I want to replace it with something else.
Yeah.
So I know I sound like I'm being a little critical here, but I guess what really got me, and I know this kind of falls on AtGames, was last week on game night, we wanted to play the pinball. AtGames had some issue over a holiday weekend. The servers were down. We couldn't play any of the pinball tables. And that got me thinking, if iArcade goes under, all these games that we bought, this is basically like it's a modding project for B. Like that's literally what this thing is going to be. You just paid $600 for a machine. At least with the arcade 1-ups, you can play them. At least with the AtGames Legends, you can play them if they shut servers down. Like that's concerning to me.
So the iArcade, like you won't be able to keep the games that are on it if the servers go
No,
down.
no,
that's what I'm wondering. Can you if you
the
you
games
log
are
out
downloaded onto the
games?
machine. They're downloaded on the machine. But if there's ever an error or something like that, you accidentally uninstall a game because you can uninstall a game.
Well, to be
on
fair,
the
Glenn,
machine.
the pinball tables are downloaded to my thumb drive that's connected to the machine, so they still should play. But they call home and want to see me.
I would
log
think
in.
the smart thing to do was if that was ever to happen, they would say get a thumb drive. You can back up your data to the thumb drive. That'd be the smart thing to do.
It would
But
be.
I understand your point, though. And we've talked about this before. Anytime you have DLC content, I talked on Blue in the Face. You got to remember that one day those servers will go offline. They can lose it. Look at the Wii store, you know, and the 3DS store. They shut them down. Yet there was a mad dash to get the games. But if they shut those servers down, that's it. But like B, there is the modding community, and people will find ways to hack servers, spoof it, and probably to get up and running. But does the iArcade have a large enough fan base for someone to take the time to do all that? It might be easier just to get a 19-inch display and a Raspberry Pi, and there you go.
Well, exactly. Yeah, and then it becomes a modding project.
Yeah, so you got the Team Encoder guys demod saying that like if they ever go under, Team Encoder is going to release it. So the modders
that's refreshing though to know that, because that kind of and that frustrates me with any company, right? So like at least with some of these, like even the consoles, you still have access to it. The console's dead, you can still get access to it for the most part. But I just feel like, man, like you're dead in the water. Like well, that's another topic. But
so from what I hear from the dark webs, the place where nostalgia sleeps at night, the iArcade has already been modded, but it's not something they're interested in releasing just because, again, like you said, the interest in it, and also like if they put a mod out for it, it'd destroy the company. So if it ever goes under, don't worry, your friends in the dark reaches of the internet will take care of you. So like we were just talking about a little while ago, $1.99 US. Any updates on iArcade Gold cab availability? This has been one of the wild and weird ones where their cabs just haven't been available for the last little while. Like there's no inventory, no stock. They sold out, and we have no update on when anything else is coming. I implore Michael, John, or somebody, especially with I don't live on Reddit. I don't even know what Reddit is. I don't exist there. I went there one time and posted one of my videos, and someone gave me a really hard time and said, "You can't be here self-promoting yourself." And I was like, I'm out of here, and I just never went back. So I don't know these rumors, but coming out and giving some information like that would certainly help maybe quell off some of these rumors about the company going under. B, don't leave us. I'll be so sad.
I was gonna say more positive because once I leave, the shit store will be gone, and then you guys can all talk positively, right? No, I gotta say a quick thank you to Mike for having me on. I gotta go catch dinner with the family. Thank you guys. So good chatting with
See
everybody.
you, B.
Mod
Have
your
fun, B.
cabinet with this guy's stuff because it's good stuff. All right, see you guys later. Thanks.
See you,
See you,
B.
B. Oh, I'm bigger now. Yay.
So I would implore Michael, somebody from iArcade, maybe to just go out there and announce, hey, right now we don't have any cabs available, but we're looking to
They're
have
not
more
gonna-
cabs available by Q4.
They're not going to tell you that.
You don't think so?
No. I think because it's if they're low on, let's just say hypothetically they can't get certain parts, right? They're not going to tell the community that they're low on certain parts because then people are going to lose interest. That would be shooting themselves in the foot. You know, if there's shipping issues, maybe they could say that, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to, just like Arcade went up. None of these companies would do that. They'd be shooting themselves in the foot.
It's a little bit different. Well, they're not going to say we don't have anything, but if they do
Right.
have something coming, is what I'm saying. Maybe just put that information out there. And it's not like Arcade 1-Up's a different animal where they have new cabinets releasing. They can't really tell you that they have cabinets coming out. I mean, they could say do a roadmap like what New Wave Toys have, but not tell you what the cabinets are. But maybe iArcade can say we're going to have more inventory because it's the same cabinet. I mean, it's the iArcade Gold. That's what it's going to be going forward.
I just hope whatever they do, you know, people complain about the MDF and the Arcade 1-Ups and the AtGames and stuff. It's just as bad with the iArcade. Like my T-nuts have fallen out on the bottom where I can't even put the adjustable feet on it. They just pop off. I glue them in, they pop off. So, I mean, all around, this has just been totally disappointing for longevity with it. There's not anything anybody in this community, in this chat room, is going to say that's going to change my mind. Just like I'm not going to change anybody else's mind about this cabinet.
Throw me $20, you'll change my mind.
So
we can be bots, Steven. Come on, give us a try.
everybody's got a price.
Have you tried many in the new games, like stuff like Wizard of Wall, stuff like that?
I think the last one that I played was the black and white Halloween game that came out.
Oh yeah, Once Upon a Time on Halloween.
Yeah, that was the last game that I played on the iArcade. I booted up. It sits here. Actually, it did get played this past Saturday. Now that I think of that, I lied. They played Dragon's Lair on it because it showed the arrows where the AtGames, the real arcade ROM, didn't show it, and they wanted to play it. And I said, well, the iArcade has the bad ROM on it where it shows you what button that you have to hit because I said it's an Android version of the game. It's not even the real version of the game, but I said everybody still loves this arcade. I said, but if you want to play it the way it is in the real arcade, you play it on the AtGames. But they still played it, and they liked the cheat where you can press up, down, left, right, and it tells you when to swing the sword and stuff like that. So that's the first time in a while it's been played.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
There's a game called Riptide Renegade, and it's like Hydro Thunder, except not. And it's really fun. I really enjoy it. That's what I've been playing the most on it.
Do they have that now? Because I like Hydro Thunder.
Riptide Renegade's been there since the very beginning. It was like the first game I got for the console.
Maybe I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll try it. I just hate dumping money into something that I'm going to eventually sell. You know,
the more games you put on there, the more valuable they can sell. So,
No,
give me Crazy Taxi on it. I'll keep it.
Yeah, like I said, swing for the fences. If they did a big swing for the fence, I'd be pretty excited about it.
I
We
want
gotta-
games that I don't have.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly swing for the fences with something more modern, something like I know Nostalgia has been saying Binding of Isaac, but he's an idiot. So then, but
I heard
what
he's
about a
piece of
game?
crap too.
What about a game like Shovel Knight? What about a game like
Shovel
Hollow
Knight
Knight?
would be good.
You know, something like that. I think that's the kind of thing that people would be like, "Oh my god, this is like a big deal." I know P Dubs keeps saying, "Do you really already played it a million times?" Yes, P Dubs, that would be a big deal if you could play Shredder's Revenge on this, even if you have a million different ways to play it.
Well, a lot of people haven't played it. Just because you've played it doesn't mean other people have played it. I've never played Shredder's Revenge. I don't play it on. I'm not a big PC gamer, so
Yeah.
I don't play it on that. So if it
It's
was
on
on
the Switch.
arcade, I probably would play it.
You got your Switch out of the box. You can play it on your Switch.
Yeah, it's not out of the box.
Guys, we got a 279 super chat here from Rights Retrocade. AtGames driving cab ever gonna happen?
Yeah, I
You don't
saw. I
think so?
saw that on. It was on Alibaba or something like that. Yeah.
That'll happen as soon as iArcade gets Glenn's stuff.
They already
I would
got
rather
that.
see Shredder's Revenge on the AtGames Legend because they did 4-player right.
Oh yeah, the 4-player quad deck.
100%. That's where I don't want to see it on iArcade. I want to see it on 4-player adapter. They did it right, even better than arcade went up.
Interesting. I would like to see Shredder's Revenge. Like I play a game like Mayhem Brawler, and I think Mayhem Brawler is such a good fit for iArcade. And I want to see more like that. Like I want to see Streets of Rage 4. I want to see Shredder's Revenge. I think it would look good on the console. Of course, like it's a widescreen game, so I understand what you're saying with the ALU as well. But I think it has potential to do games like that don't fit in an arcade space. Something like that would really put iArcade's name on the map. That's my opinion.
You're entitled to your opinion, Michael.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right. Anyways,
I'm keeping it positive. I'm keeping it. I positively don't really like the iArcade.
Jongy Kong. That's who we need. We need some Jongy Kong.
Jongy Kong.
So, anyways, the AtGames driving cab. Unfortunately, Rights Retrocade. I'm going to be honest with you about this. I think the cab has been pushed right to the very bottom. It was something they wanted to do, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't think it was ever really going to be a cab so much as they were of the mindset that this was going to be more of a driving sim thing. So the focus was on you can hook your PC up to it and play more simulation type things. So the idea that it was going to come out, they were going to get a bunch of arcade racers. I don't know if there was much hope with that. So we'll have to see. Maybe it's still possible. Maybe they'll do something really cool with it. But
are we talking about AtGames now?
Yeah, we're going to go to AtGames in a second, but
Okay.
I'm just answering the super chat too. For
no worries. I'll hold on to it.
All right, Glenn, what do you think? Do you think dead in the water? You think it's still a possibility? The other thing too is that model that they showed. How in God's name are they going to ship that? Because that's a one piece with a seat that lights up and a big metal thing.
If they did anything like that, it would be back to BJ's or Sam's Club. You'd have to go to one of those places to pick it up. I wouldn't see that being shipped. I agree with you. It wouldn't be shipped. You have to go to a warehouse and get one. But I don't think. I mean, we know the one that was originally showed wasn't real. I mean, so
well, it was real.
Well, yeah, it's real.
AtGames actually talked to the developer. So as much as everybody's saying this is an Alibaba job, and maybe it was available on Alibaba, but AtGames talked to the developers of this cabinet. They bought one. They were working on forming a partnership. The only problem is that they just showed it like it was instead of taking some time to maybe reskin it, at least make it look more like an AtGames product. They showed it a little bit too early when it was in a state it probably really shouldn't have been showed in that intro video that we put out.
Leaked.
No, it wasn't leaked. They gave it to us and said, "Show this video."
Well, I don't know. I really don't see them releasing such a cabinet anyway. Personally, I don't. I think they're doing really well with their ecosystem they have right now. They have a lot of products out now. I think it will kind of thin the herd a little bit. Sometimes you can release too many products in your line, and driving cameras are fun. They are, but they're more of a niche type of thing,
Yeah.
I think, for the most part. So I don't really see them releasing it, to be honest.
Richard Odillo says, Michael B, yes, a render would have been a better idea. I agree with that. A render would have been smart. Something showing the video, especially in this like rundown warehouse where you may or may not get stabbed on an offer up agreement with like no stickers, anything covering it up. I mean, it was basically the same product that was sold on Alibaba. So unfortunately, that put them in a bad spot. But let's move on, guys. Let's talk about AtGames, because AtGames are actually doing some really cool stuff this year. Kind of blew our mind when we did the announcement a little while back during National Owners Day. So AtGames are coming out with a brand new ALU, which I didn't anticipate, and a brand new ALP. And they're going to be moving to 4K. They've got a new chipset that's going in there. They're also offering upgrade kits for people, which no man left behind. Well, sort of, because the new screens aren't going to be 4K with the upgrade kit. But what are you excited about that AtGames are coming out with in this year? Are you going to be picking up an ALU 4K or an ALP 4K? Stephen Haywood, you wanted to talk about AtGames. Now's your chance. Positivity. Let's go.
Will I be upgrading to the 4K AtGames Legends? No. Will I be upgrading to the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K? No. The reason being is, just like we see with everything else with AtGames, it takes them years to get things developed. And I'm just like I waited till just recently this year for $189 to get the 1.2 Legends Ultimate. I'm not hooking a PC up to it. So the guys that are doing the PC, I'm sure they would upgrade to it. And I think they should, right? Because it's that way they get 4K. They're going to put games on there that can handle that. But you don't need 4K for retro gaming. The pinball, I could see you needing that more, but again, it's gonna fall on the guys that are doing, the PC hooking it up, because AtGames, I would say they're probably at least a year and a half out to develop like 4-5 pinball tables that'll be 4K capable. I don't foresee that, and I honestly think, because of the way the economy is going, and this goes across the board, AtGames announced it. I bet we don't see either of them before end of first quarter next year. That's my prediction.
Interesting. Glenn, what about you? I'm going to throw it up in the chat here. Start a poll.
Well, I agree. I'm not going to be doing either one of the upgrades. It doesn't make sense. The 4K, you're not going to have that 4K on your display anyway. There is more processing power on the board, but for me, for the games that I like to play, the more the retro stuff. So there's no reason for me to do that. I have the AtGames Legends Pinball Micro Pinball, however they announce it, and I think a 1080p screen on that one is more than adequate. So I'm fine with it is. But I do take my hat off to them for offering an upgrade path. Some companies don't even do that. You buy the new one or you keep the old one, and that's it. So just the fact they offer the upgrades is nice. But I would have liked to have seen them offer a 4K screen upgrade as well. Now, you could be a separate kit, but if you're going to buy the 4K upgrade kit, buy the monitor as well and get the true reason. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to do it, in my opinion.
All right, just asking the community here what they're excited about from AtGames. Your choices are ALU 4K, ALP 4K, Natural History Pinball Pack 2, and last but not least, ArcadeNet, my favorite. So they're bringing new games to ArcadeNet. Let's see what you guys want. I think for me, I'm interested in the ALP 4K, and it kills me because I put so much money into my ALU back there. My ALP original, because I got the buy stuff back box. I bought a PC to go with it, but it's because of those extras and the extra stuff I want to do. We just got the new Pinball FX through Steam that can operate up to 4K plus, visual pinball, all that stuff in 4K. That experience makes me more excited. Plus the new added features they talked about for the pinball table. So that back box that I got for the ALP back there from Buy Stuff Store, it sounds like the new upgraded ALP 4K is going to have a similar back box right off the hop. I'm excited in that one. ALU 4K, I don't know why I would need ALU 4K unless I'm going to hook a PC up to it and then start playing more modern games in 4K. So maybe I'll play fighting games in 4K on it. Or maybe I'm going to, work with somebody to get a racing wheel for it and I want to turn it into a racer. A lot of people have done that. So there's those benefits. I'm not really into modding in that capacity. I'm more interested in the pinball because I already got the setup done. I'm ready to go. I got my PC hooked up. Am I super excited about them putting their own first party games in 4K for pinball? I guess so, but really my ALP is it's a pass through for a virtual pinball table using my PC.
Yeah, for you it makes complete sense for a 4K pinball because you have a PC. But I mean, you would have to agree if they're in development. I mean, a lot of these games from the ground up, even if they're re-rendered, you're looking at least a year and a half development time, and that's being generous, right? So, and that's not a put down. I mean, I'm being positive here. I mean, that's not I look forward to the day when AtGames says we got 40 some games or 50 some games that are 4K, and then maybe I'll consider going up to 4K. But I feel that same way in the broadcasting space. I have 4K cameras, but I don't use them in 4K. I don't stream in 4K because most people, they don't have 4K monitors. They don't have the bandwidth to pull down 4K, right? And for the most part, everybody's kind of in 1080p. So I understand from the pinball standpoint, the ball moves faster, it's more fluid. I get it. But I think you really need to have a good PC to utilize this. And for the people that are they have a PC, they're going to love this thing.
So one thing that Nostalgia keeps bringing up is you can now play the new board that they have on there will allow you to emulate up to Dreamcast games, maybe even GameCube games, stuff like that. Now, if that's something you're interested in, cool. Your new ALU 4K can do that. Like me, I don't want to play console games on an arcade, so like it doesn't really add a lot of value for me.
I'll bust out the Dreamcast because mine's not in a bag, it's not in a box, it's hooked up to the TV, unlike this guy down here.
Oh no, I have two. I have one that's in the bag, and I have one that's got a GMU in it, and that one's it's in a bag, but I could take it out of the bag.
Oh, that's right. You do have one that's modded, right? That you don't need the discs. I thought
Right.
that's right. I forgot you did
I hate
that.
doing that though. I prefer ones that allow you to keep your optical drive in there, and you can still like the new GameCube. There's so many. This guy Macho Nacho, if you ever see his channel, he does all these mods in these consoles. But I need to find one for my 3DO. My 3DO. I know Steven, you got yours fixed, but my 3DO has been tanked for a number of years.
Why do you need a 3DO? Why do you need a 3DO?
The 3DO's got a lot of fun games on it. It really, really
A
does.
lot of fun games. You only need Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. You only need the Road Rash that they've got for 3DO, and you only need Sewer Shark. You're good. You got the whole library.
That stupid game. Shockwave. Love Shockwave. Gex. I know Gex is on other platforms.
Gex is the best on the 3DO.
See? So
no.
Oh yes.
Need for
100%.
Speed. The original Need for Speed was on the 3DO
and
as well.
Road Rash.
Road Rash on 3DO is
Road Rash
must-have for the music alone. Yeah.
100. Well, yeah, there's certain games on, even Lemmings on 3DO.
Let's go.
It was better than some other versions that I've played.
But also, it's just the fact of it's a console I have that powers on, but I can't actually play any games on it. It drives me nuts.
Whoa, Sewer Shark was better on Sega CD. Maybe play-wise, JT Brunwick, but in terms of video quality was better on the 3DO.
Agreed.
You had a bigger picture. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So even King Krill, he agrees with me. Gex is the best on 3DO.
Also, Captain Quasar, another fun game.
So Sathius makes a good comment here, and there's a lot of good console games that will work well on an arcade cab. That's fair. And one of the other things I like about this concept of them having a more powerful board is maybe AtGames can do some of the things that iArcade's not doing. And it's something I've always wanted to see. Maybe AtGames can go out and get these publishers to start, releasing games. Maybe Hollow Knight comes out on the Legends. Now, I know that the people inside AtGames will be like, why would we want to do that? You can just hook a PC up to it. But maybe there's an avenue where not everybody wants to hook up a PC, and maybe people want to play Hollow Knight on their AtGames Legends Ultimate. Maybe they could start selling games like that. Maybe that's what ArcadeNet could be.
They could be, but they also starting to make some really powerful, tiny little machines. It's not like you have to have these big machines anymore. So that is a cool thing about the Legends, the HDMI, in on
Yeah.
there. So it's a really nice machine. I mean, if you want one that does everything, the Legends Ultimate line is really the one to beat. It is.
It's missing one thing though. One thing.
GRS sticks, I got them. They're in there.
No, that's not what I'm talking
Oh,
about. We do have confirmed that the new ALU 4K will not have a rotating screen, and it's still horrible. Like it's horrible playing vertical games on that horizontal screen with the little tiny thing, and then the black bar is going like massively out to the rest of the screen.
see, I don't see
So
the black bars. They should always fix. You could put artwork on there. I never had a
That's
problem
how
with
I
doesn't
that.
fix
play.
it for me.
No,
No,
doesn't do it for you. Doesn't jig your
no, it
rig.
doesn't do it for me. Now, like the funny thing was when you have the ALU Mini and you have the AtGames Legends Ultimate, when you actually turn your ALU Mini vertical and then put it in the correct aspect ratio, the screen size is like pretty much the exact same as it looks like on the ALU. It's the exact same size, but
Right.
still, I mean,
But
I don't
wasn't
know.
it a pain in the butt the way they had it implemented to rotate that screen?
Nah, it wasn't that bad. It was
No,
mere minutes, barely an
some
inconvenience.
okay, because some people were
I
saying it
love
was a
that
pain in the
line.
butt.
Yeah.
Barely inconvenience. That guy's hysterical.
Was it hashtag playable?
Oh, it was more than playable. Honestly, rotating the screen was super easy. There was nothing to it.
I
So
still
if they
think
could,
they could have used
Rotating of the
magnets.
screen. There was something to it. You had to rotate the screen.
They should have used magnets. Pull it out, turn it, lock it in.
Actually, the Tato one was the best. Just press in, pops out, and it rotates. If that was really well
Yeah,
done.
that would have been ideal. But I mean, you got to think about it. Like we're gonna do stuff like that. A common consumer is not going to turn the screen. They're not. They're just not going to go through that hassle. Like when people come over here,
Oh, they'll break it. That's
they
what
don't. They play the game exactly the way it comes up. They don't care if it's this big or if the scan lines are on or if it's pixel perfect or stretched. And I'm just like I can't play it stretched. If somebody has it stretched, I'm like, it just ruins the whole experience for me. I hate it. I hate stretched video. Period.
For me, the big fail with that cabinet, with the ALU Mini, like if I'm just going to be serious, was the screen wasn't that big, the 19-inch screen in vertical, especially when you did the correct aspect ratio, because it wasn't a longer screen. But it was the limited controls. It was a one-player fight arcade layout. There's no trackball, no spinner, so you're losing out on so many games. Like, I want to play Centipede on this thing, but I want to play Centipede right, so I need a goddamn trackball. I want to play Tempest on this thing, but I want to play Tempest
Yeah,
right, so I
that's
need
a
a spinner.
shame.
So, I mean, as much as I know they had limited space on that control panel where it was more narrow, they should have thought it out a little bit better to have more extra stuff. Chip for Brain says his has a spinner. He must have added one, but you know
Wasn't
what I
there
mean?
a certain guy that was making some add-ons that could clip onto it at
Buttonhole
some point?
spinners.
There was a guy who makes really good spinners, good track balls too. And he was supposed to
got
be
balls.
making some add-ons where you could just like plug it in and it just kind of hooks onto it. But I don't know whatever happened to that guy. I think he put all his eggs in an iArcade basket, I think.
No, actually, I didn't. Actually, in here, that blue in the middle is my trackball for the Legends Ultimate. The problem was they kept changing the protocols on their trackball, and I worked with their engineering team, and we never were able to get it to work again. It only worked with the Legends 1.0.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to release it unless we could make it work with all of them. And they kept changing the back end. So if they ever standardize it, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm talking to PK. We still talk to this day.
I'm just
And
giving you crap.
I know, but I want to work with them. I want to do those type of things.
But no, I mean, Mike, that would solve that problem, right? You'd have like a clip-on trackball or spinner because, or all one. You have the trackball and the spinner that just hooks onto the side in some capacity. But I would agree with you. I think that's why I didn't want that machine.
Yeah,
Just-
I don't want something on the side. Like you guys should know by now, I'm a very stock person. I like things that
You
are
want it
stock.
modded.
I want it already done. I just
know.
want like
I'm
a
with you.
popping
Listen,
control
I'm the same
panel.
way.
Yeah.
I try not to mod if I don't have to. Like there's certain things like the Tron. I really didn't want to do it, but I know Glenn's products are more superior than what was in there. And it's inevitable that it's going to break. I got kids over here. They're playing on it. They're going to, horse on it. I'm not going to break it, but that doesn't mean they're not going to. And so what am I going to do? Wait till it breaks? And, so Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to mod anything anymore. I have zero interest in doing that.
No. Let me clarify. I have a flight yoke from Glenn's Retro Show in my Star Wars. I don't mind doing that. When there's a good product that goes in there that makes sense and looks right, totally down.
Right.
What I'm talking about is when people come up with these inventions where, oh yeah, I'll just put a spinner hanging off the side and stuff like that. That's where I don't want to do it. I want it to still have that arcade feel. Like when one of the big fails, I think, is when they did the unveiling of the open accessories platform. Jong had all those guys there with like bricks. He had like your equipment on the bricks and stuff. Glenn, it was
why
like
you gotta hate
separate.
on me like that? I thought this was supposed to be positive.
It is positive.
Why you gotta
talking
hate
about?
on me like that? That was the only way I knew how to do it. All right.
But you know what I'm talking about, Glenn? Like when the guys had like this like hunk of wood with stuff in it, and they're like, "Look how easy it is to play," and I'm like, "That don't look easy, Chief."
No, I know what he's saying. You don't want to have the accessories outside of this
Yeah.
form factor of the unit, and I get that. I don't know. I understand, but like on our cabinet here, let me see if I get the video over here. Kind of
Whoa,
see it here.
Whoa, getting dizzy, getting dizzy. Whoa,
Woo!
hello, hold on.
So you can see we have expansion here for product and expansion over here. So
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
yeah. So we're planning on doing things like that. Because
But see, you could do something with like that with AtGames then, to where you could like slide things on mics, so then it would actually look like it's part of. You could even do that with a racing controller of some sort.
Yep.
So I mean, like the only mod that really interested me as of late was the one for Ridge Racer from Buy Stuff Store. That was the only one that I would actually gut the machine to do. All the other ones I'm just like I'm with you. I don't want switches hanging off the thing. I don't want, because the Legends UI is hard enough for people to navigate. They still haven't figured it out. Certain buttons do certain things on certain interfaces, and it's nothing standardized.
That D-pad and that pinball, man. I want to melt it.
Well, I took my joystick off of that. I hate it. I hate the joystick and buttons. I'm actually sending it to Moat.
I like the joystick and buttons. I love that thing.
No way. I took that thing off.
The only thing with AtGames that with their mods and stuff that I find frustrating is like I always talk about this. Like things should be super simple, and like I get mad at iArcade because their video out with the iArcade Gold, it comes out stretched, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's simple. You just go into OBS and you transform it." I'm like, "But I shouldn't have to do that."
You shouldn't have to do that. No.
So with the AtGames, like one of my favorite things AtGames have done the last little while is that bit LCD up there. Like that thing is incredible. Adds so much nostalgia to a machine that doesn't have a lot of nostalgia. But since it's been on there, I've been having a problem where I turn on the control panel. Control panel most of the times doesn't work right away, and AtGames are just like, it's not a big deal. You just hold down on player 2 until everything comes in when you're done. I shouldn't have to do that. It should just work.
Do you know what the hardest product from AtGames was for me to get working? And I consider myself pretty tech savvy. Know what I'm doing. There's one thing. You know what the hardest thing was?
ALP?
That stupid gamepad that they have.
Oh yeah.
To get that thing synced, I literally had to take my Legends, the mini joystick, the wireless one, hook it up to my Core Max, get it up and running, and then tell it to look for the controller. And even then, the buttons that you have to do to hit it to go into the configuration mode, their instructions don't really tell you correctly. I bet you I spent 3 hours trying to get that thing to sync up. It was a nightmare for a crappy controller. Like I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Well, guys, we got to switch over to Arcade 1-Up pretty soon, or Cornercade's head is just going to spin right off his body.
Well, I thought we did do that.
No, but chat just went down. Of course, not a big surprise. ALP 4K taking the most commanding of all the things we've done so far. 65% say that's the product they're most excited for coming out of the AtGames camp. I can't disagree. It's the one I'm the most excited for as well. Virtual pinball is awesome, and I'm excited to see how much more awesome it can be on this new machine. Glenn, you don't have a virtual pinball machine, do you?
I do. I do. I
Oh
got
yeah,
the
you got the LP Micro.
Yep, and I'm having a blast with that little thing.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. I also have my little one I made, which is works when it wants to. But that mini from AtGames, I was really impressed with it. I think the screen is really crisp. It plays really well. I'm very happy with that little guy.
Yeah, I have it in my daughter's room right now. I took my old ALP legs off because I bought the Sega Stern legs for my ALP to raise it a little bit taller so my back doesn't hurt all the time anymore. So my daughter has this little mini pinball table in her house, in her room now, and it's perfect size for her. So she's having a blast with it. It is a great device, really performs well. I'm happy with the ALP Micro.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's if they get the price down just a little bit, I think they would sell a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out in Canada yet. It might be out in Canada yet, but I think the price point is like really high. Like it's 649, 699 Canadian for the
Yeah,
ALP Micro,
it's
which
a
is
lot. It's a lot.
yeah. All right, guys. So moving on to Arcade One Up. Arcade One Up have deluxe cabs. Arcade One Up have Fast and the Furious, Time Crisis, a rumored WrestleFest cab. Is there anything there that you guys are interested in? Start with you, Steven, because Glenn, I think I know your answer.
You might, rabbits, you might.
So I was interested in the deluxe cabinet until I saw the game list, and it's pretty much what I already have now, minus the title. I like the way they look. I just can't justify. I just bought Dig Dug to get rid of that, just to get one of these deluxe cabinets. I can't do that right now. As much as I want to, because they look like the originals. I'm really excited for Fast and the Furious, not because of nostalgic of the
You're the only
game,
one.
but for the franchise. Yeah, I'm probably the only one, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. And it's probably going to be so much wrong with it, crappy rendition compared to the guys that know how this arcade game is going to be. But for me, it's more than that. It's kind of like some of the guys were with Marvel versus Capcom too. Like they're dealing with the shortcomings with it, but because it has so much nostalgia for them. So I'm probably the anomaly, Mike. I'm probably the guy that you're only going to hear that's going to sing the praises of this cabinet because of my history, which I've explained on another show. I grew up with that, lifestyle of living like the Fast and the Furious, where we had cars like that. We all got together. We had car clubs. It was tricked out, So for me,
so just to be
staple.
clarify this. You live your life 1 mile at a time.
1 mile at a time. And it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. So, but yeah, that's the one and I honestly don't think we're going to see any other cabinets the rest of the year. I'd be very surprised. I think they might announce them, but again, with the economy the way it is, I'd be very surprised if we saw them. If we did see them, it'd probably be the end of the year. Whatever cabinet, like Fast and Furious, will get here in the next couple weeks. But I mean, any other cabinet, if they announce it, I don't know, man. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I just don't think so. And I don't have any inside information. I'm seeing the way the world's going right now. I see how my company's moving product and how product isn't moving. We're selling it. It's just that you can't keep up with the demand, right? So like the demand is high and we're still catching up from COVID, right? Everybody's still shipping slow and it's out of the company's hands. So I'm going to say Q4, Q1 of next year that we're going to see any other machines. I don't think it's slim pickings.
I will say I was at Best Buy yesterday or Saturday, and I did see the Pac-Man XL, I guess it is. It's a nice looking cabinet. I mean, if there wasn't so many Pac-Mans out already, I probably would buy it just because it really does look nice. I mean, it's got the nice shape of the original machine. There's no riser on it. It's still broke up in the middle. When you look at the artwork, you got the little slot going across. But it was a nice little cabinet. The joystick felt nice. The button felt nice. The marquee was lit very well. The screen looked really crisp. So I can't fault for it. It's just that again, it's like the 10th time they're releasing a Pac-Man cabinet, and I've already had 2 of them, and I personally don't mind the riser because if some young kids do come over, you can at least take it off the riser, and the little kid can play it. I know a lot of people been championing for it. They don't want the riser. They want it to look nice, and that's fine. That is fine. I was never had a problem with the riser, especially with my flood. The risers can help me out. I would have really been screwed.
Well, what about people like Angel? who doesn't want a riser. He just wants
Exactly.
the arcade so he can play it sitting
Right.
in his chair.
Right. And we brought that up on
They'll still have those.
the show. Right. And they will. But I will say
Yeah.
that from the one machine I did see, the Pac-Man one, I'll admit it looked nice. The monitor looked really nice. The sound played well. Speakers were in a nice spot. The marquee looked great. It was a nice looking cabinet. I don't know if it was worth the price they were asking, but it was a nice looking cabinet.
Thor KC says he's looking forward to Fast and the Furious
Oh, there's
to
two
go
people.
on sale.
You can play some now, Steven. It's linkable, right?
So
Oh yeah, that's the other thing, right? Linkable. Like so if you buy 2 of these machines and put it in your house to link them together, we seriously have to have a talk.
Yeah, if you get them on
We
sale, for
really have to have a
$100
talk.
piece,
But listen,
I
if
would say
that's your
go for it.
fancy, and you want to do that, but no, seriously, I want to caveat this. $4.99, maybe $5.99 is what I'll pay for it. Anything over that, I'll wait till it goes on sale like Thor. I even as much nostalgia as I have for it, for not even as a game.
Well, look at NFL Blitz. Came out $5.99, and
I'm
within like 2 weeks it was $1.99. So hold off.
I'm not paying full price. Well, I'm not. First of all, I'm not paying $6.99 for it, and 2, I'm not pre-ordering from
Not gonna
Arcade
pre-order
One
it.
Up.
Not gonna
Not from
pre-order it?
Arcade One Up. I would do it
Okay.
from Best Buy or Walmart, but not from Arcade One Up. They're done. Not happening.
But you'll get it in like 10 months.
I will pre-order it from the brick before I would do Arcade One Up, and
They
I'd
don't-
probably
they
still
don't-
get it.
They don't ship to the U.S. P-Dubs found that out when the just around Christmas time, the Toy Shock, what is it? The Toy Shock, the tabletop Toy Shock pinball machine went on sale for $1.99 Canadian, which is like I think like 43 cents US. I
Pretty
think
much.
that's the
yeah,
way
I
our
think
exchange
so.
rate works now. But they would not ship him one. He was
What
all
about-
in, but
What about doesn't your buddies over at the
Buy stuff.
My
store?
Stuff store, do they ship they ship US, but do they get pre-orders and stuff like that for the new cabinet?
not they didn't have access to the Toy Shock stuff. Now they could have went to the brick, bought one, and then shipped it to P-Dubs, but
But I mean, like A1 Up, do they have?
Like a friend, like
do they
if
get
you knew, even if it was someone who lived in Canada, could have done it for him too. But hey,
yeah. No, he asked me, and I was going to work it out, but I told him, I said, shipping's going to be ridiculous. Shipping's
It
going to be
is.
more
Yeah,
than
that's-
the Toy Shock
But-
itself.
But pay a buttload of shipping versus wait 3, 4, 5 months from Arcade
can
One
you
Up
just go to the
pre-order.
border and just say here, and just kind of just throw it over the border?
So I'm a little bit lost in the conversation here now where we are. So are we talking about Arcade One Up shipping to Canada, or what are we talking about
No,
here?
they're giving me a hard time because when I pre-ordered Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I wanted to see how good or how bad Arcade One Up's pre-order was, and it took them 4 months to get it to me as a pre-order. So that's why everybody's asking, "Are you going to pre-order from Arcade One Up?" And that's why I said if I bought it from the brick or if I bought it from Buy Stuff store, I'd probably get it a lot sooner, even if I had to pay more money. If I got it from Canada than I would if I got it from from Arcade One Up.
Yeah, we got lucky here with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in Canada. We got our supply roughly around the same time as the US, and it wasn't as sought after here in Canada.
You had
So-
yours before I did, and I pre-ordered it before you.
And I got
A
mine on
month and a
sale
half
too.
before you.
I got mine on
Yeah.
sale too.
I know. That's why that's why Glenn keeps giving me a hard time and everybody else in the chat room
Yep.
because but to be fair, I knew what I was getting into with it. It was kind of like we wanted to see how it was going to go, and it was like a one time and done. I wouldn't do that again.
So going back to the games that we know about, we know we're getting Fast and the Furious, and we know
Mhm.
about the deluxe cabs. Time Crisis, still rumored because of the GameFly leak from last year, and plus we saw the initial rendering. We assume we're getting Time Crisis this year. I've got a feeling, like I talked about this because I heard from some people in the community that I think know that there's a possibility these cabs could be linked. I don't know how successful they'll be as selling multiple cabs, but I'm sure some people will do it. Like big racing fans, they'll probably buy 2 cabinets. I think there's a possibility Time Crisis could be linked to. This goes back to a 19K Fox video where he talked about they were trying to figure out some kind of split screen technology for Time Crisis. I think if they're going to develop link technology for Fast and the Furious,
Yeah.
it just makes sense that they make Time Crisis linkable as well to play the 2-player games like Time Crisis 2. So,
But you're bringing
see
up
about
Time
that.
Crisis. But to be fair, how many times did we see Arcade One Up even at CES in the back room and people taking those flip phone photos, and we seen machines like Buck Hunter and some of these other ones that were taken 2 to 3 years before they even came out to the public, as actual cabinets, as these are just demos and trying to get licenses. Like, this is what we're gonna do. What if Time Crisis doesn't come till the end of next year or even mid next year?
I got a pretty good feeling it's going to come this year.
You think?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think it's as dire as what you're saying in terms of development. I think the problem with Arcade 1-Up that they're having right now isn't so much about the development getting cabs here. I think the problem is getting the retailers to take them, because the retailers right now are overloaded with stock. That's what I'm hearing from the distributors, is that right now, like places like the Brick, other things like that, they just got a pile of stock.
Yeah, they can't move it.
They've got stuff that's just stuck there, and like
Right.
they're overloaded. So Arcade 1-Up's like, hey, we got new games, and the retailers are like, we're not really
We don't
ready
want 'em.
for it right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying they might have it ready right now, just like Fast and the Furious. I forget who said it. I don't know if it was B. Somebody said it where, some of the dates on it were from like the middle of last year. Like, it was ready to go last year, but they held off on it because they couldn't get it in warehouses, or they just kind of figured people weren't going to buy it. So that's why I'm thinking maybe Time Crisis is ready right now, but maybe they're going to hold off for like a Q4 or a Q1 release next year, like do it as a CES release.
I think it's all dependent on how the deluxe cabs move out of the retailers. If the deluxe cabs move quickly, we can move forward.
So since the deluxe cabinets have been released, the class of 81, my local Best Buy has had it, and I check it every day. Since it's been released, they still have that one cabinet still there. Like, I could go get it tomorrow. They have it like online. You can check, if they have it in stock. So I don't believe. In my area, they're not moving that well at all. I mean, it's hard to, like I said, it's even hard to resell these. Like, I pretty much would have to give them away to sell.
That's
Michael,
in your
you're
area.
you're
I
the
did
host.
really
You don't
well.
have to raise your hand. You just start talking. This is your show,
Well,
Michael.
I want to throw this to you because, Glenn, this is actually your super chat on your channel. Ichabod Crane.
I have no idea. NBA Shaq edition. I have no idea. So super chat down 99. What game comes with the NBA Jams Shaq edition? Don't know. Don't care. I don't like NBA Jam.
I can
have
tell
no
you
idea.
that because I have NBA Jam Shack Edition. So it's the same games that were on the 3/4 scale NBA Jam. You get NBA Jam TE, and NBA Hang Time. And they work, they're cross-play with the original 3/4 scale arcade. Just keep in mind that screen, it's kind of shitty, but everything else about that arcade, except for the horrendous side artwork, is pretty dope. So
Now, you said you sold yours pretty good. How long? Like, not trying to get personal here, but what are you talking as far as, did you have to pretty much give them away, or did you have to like
my
bundle
arcade
them up?
one-ups?
Yeah, your 1-ups.
No.
What was the
like,
average price that you got for them?
So I was trying to sell them for I sold pretty much all of them for around $500 Canadian, which
Wow.
Really?
there was a strong market. People were asking me for cabs that I didn't even have listed yet.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I only had a couple that went down under that amount. Like
If they
I
knew
had a
who Mike
really
B
easy
was, they
time
knew it's a
reselling mine.
Michael B machine. That got
Did you autograph them or something to get them? I mean, I'm just being real here, man. Like, I can't even, like, I tried to get rid of the Galaga one, the original one, and the guy's like, "I'll give you 125 for it. It's the very first version of Galaga." And I'm like, "Yeah, you can't buy it anymore. It's got a brand new PCB in it, brand new, because I got it under warranty."
So there was only one person that actually asked for an autograph, and that was my buddy Mike Dalton, who I've talked about a bunch of times. He's the guy who owns every iArcade cabinet ever made. So he originally bought my Pac-Man 40th anniversary, and he had me sign the marquee. So when I sold him my Miss Pac-Man, he wanted me to sign the marquee again, and I was like, "Get out of here, Mike! You don't need that." It just felt so weird, right? I don't want to be signing stuff. Not that I didn't want to do it for him, but like, he's my buddy. Like, felt weird signing something for my friend while I was there. So yeah, I just got really lucky. I guess I was selling them at a good time. People were looking for them, interested. But I will say I've been critical of Arcade 1-Up about making cabinets that I want them to see them make the weird and wacky stuff. But I can certainly see their stance, because it's the cabinets that are a little bit more out there. I had a harder time selling. So like no problem selling Street Fighter, no problem selling Mortal Kombat, no problem selling Pac-Man. But Golden Axe, that hung on the offer up a little bit longer than everything else.
Look at Cleveland Gaming Classics. He's like, you can find him everywhere on Facebook Marketplace here for 125 to 200 tops. That's what I'm saying to you.
On Marketplace around me, there are $300 to $400 around
you
here.
Never get. I've yet to see anybody, if they even advertise it for 300, get 300 for it.
Regional differences,
crazy. No, that's what I'm saying. Like at that price point for 125, I would just give it. I'd rather give it away to somebody that wants to play it in their house, right?
Well, I'm also assuming in Canada the machines themselves is harder to come by. Period. So if one of these comes up, that's probably I want that machine. So you probably get a little more money for that.
Yeah. Our distributions got better. There's this crazy YouTuber who made all these complaining videos about how we couldn't get stuff here in Canada, and Arcade went up, listened, and we got almost the full inventory, Glenn.
Nice.
My 3 year.
If they go do that for Europe, England, they're and Australia.
That's my next activity, to try to get them to sell more stuff there. Man, poor Europe. They get nothing. Like I feel bad for them.
2 or 3 cabinets I think they've ever seen over there.
Yeah. So, all right, where are we to with this poll that we got up here so far? Deluxe Legacy Cabs 33%, Fast and Furious Time Crisis, WrestleFest. So there's not enough poll options. The one I'm excited about, I think this should be pretty obvious. I've been saying this since last year. What I really like that Arcade 1-Up did in the last little while is the progression into the XL and the Pro cabs. I don't like the Pro price. I don't think there's a lot of Pro value compared to the XL, but I love the form factor and the bigger cabinets. So what I'm excited about is we know there's at least one XL coming this year. We think there might be a Pro cabinet. That's what I'm looking forward to. I've got a feeling it's going to be a safe bet. Last time they went with sports games. I think they're going to play it really safe this time. If they do an XL cab, it's probably going to be something that also came out in the deluxe line. Maybe a Street Fighter, maybe a Pac-Man, maybe a Miss Pac-Man.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars isn't this year. Console Kit says Star Wars isn't this year.
Because that's one of the silhouettes on their that was on their 4.
No, it would be good too if they did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a full size with the 4 panel. I think that would do sell well as well.
You think it's Star Wars that was on those 4 silhouettes?
Yeah, it was one furthest to the right. Like if you're looking at it on the right, because you could see the slanted control panel where the yoke would be, and I actually matched it up in Photoshop.
Maybe it was Missile Command. Then it was Missile Command. And then it was a Williams cab, which I think was Robotron, Qbert, and then the last one over was either a Street Fighter or a Double Dragon. That's what I thought the 4 were.
But either way, like I know John alluded to a deluxe cabinet of Star Wars. So, I hope they don't do a deluxe Star Wars. I hope we never see a deluxe Star Wars. We got the re-release this year. I hope next year they release an XL. That's my. Well, no, see, I would love to get one of the XLs or something like that. But again, we run into height and space in that aspect, because I would be like you. I would be like, okay, so now I've got 3 of these XL cabinets. And what do I got to wait 10 years to get the rest of these cabinets in XL form? And that's not a dig. It's just like if they're coming out with 1 or 2 a year, like I don't want to have them mixed with these 3/4. So it's either XL or nothing, right? So I get rid of all of them and just keep 1, 2, or 3 XLs. That's a tough one, man.
I have a small row of about what do I got left? I got about 7 3/4 scale Arcade 1-Ups left. The choice stuff. That's what I have there in one little room, and I play that. But out in my new game room that I got going now, that's where I put my XL cabs. So I've got a Golden Tee next to my TV, NBA Jam on the other side. So the plan right now is, say they release something really cool, like a Pac-Man XL cab. I'll probably sell my Golden Tee and get Pac-Man. I know I'm like the only person who wants a Pac-Man XL cabinet, but I do. I love Pac-Man. I can't help it. I want a bigger Pac-Man cabinet to enjoy.
You're the only one.
No, I'm the only one.
Glenn likes Pac-Man. No, I would get a Pac-Man, but again, I want all of them like that.
Well,
It's
the
the
thing for me is
OCD.
it comes down to space. So if you're getting these larger machines, you're going to have less real estate for as many machines you have. Number one, right now, they're bigger to move around. My house floods again. I'm struggling to get these bigger machines out of there. So there are downsides to it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest, you got to start going to those full size for the price. You can go to the used market and you may get a real one in decent shape for around the same price.
The problem with the real ones though, they're so freaking heavy,
They are.
and there's a lot of
Depending on
work
where
to
you're
them.
to, Glenn. Depending on where you're to. Come on.
Also,
Come on.
agreed. I'm saying it all the time, but you're getting up there. I mean, you get up to $1,000 for one of these XL cabs. You can sometimes
But
get.
no, I agree with Glenn on that. I mean, if you can, like, I can get a WrestleMania the arcade game right now, $800. That's if I don't haggle with the company
And you look
that
at Doug
has
and
it.
Retro Ralph. They're going out all the time getting these machines. I mean,
Yeah, he's getting
they're in
$300
better
to
areas,
$500.
but
Yeah,
they get good machines for the price of what you get for an XL.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation before, real or recreation, and Cleveland Gaming Classic brings up a good point here. He go buy 2 Cruisins for $600 a piece, which is the same as their deluxe cab, $599. So, I mean, why, if you could buy the original, would you then go and buy an arcade one up?
Right.
But they're really selling for people that don't want to deal with the hassle of having to repair and maintain arcades. They're dealing with people that don't want to deal with the big arcade. They're also dealing with people that they feel that these are coming in at a lower price point, whatever it is. That's who they're selling to. They're not trying to, go out to real arcade collectors and be like, this is better for you.
no, right. And Cornercade's like, Tech Buzz, that's because you have all the old ones that suck. We got the new ones that they go for 400 on the marketplace. I totally 100% disagree with you, because we had this discussion earlier in the show. If you missed it, I have more problems with the newer arcades that I buy than the Gen 1s. And getting them with defects in the wood, in the graphics. I'm getting spots in the lighted marquees. Now, granted, all my first gens have third-party lighted marquees. I think, Mike, you did that, and Glenn, you did the same thing.
Yep.
But I've had control panels dead. Like my first one on Dig Dug, the volume slider didn't work. They had to send me a whole new control panel, which I told them it was the PCB, but they didn't believe me. So they sent me a control panel. And when that didn't work, they sent me a new PCB. So I got a control panel and a PCB. I don't know. I've just had more problems with the brand new machines. The monitors on most of the Gen 1s, you guys remember B was just on here and he agrees, like they were really good monitors on those Gen 1s. So I don't know. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think just people don't want. I think the fad's coming to an end.
Well,
Hey, I tried to be positive, Mike.
Well,
I tried. I really did. I tried.
I don't think you're wrong. But the other problem is when you keep re-releasing the same properties, just in different form factors, it's still the same game.
And this is a perfect time to do this. We're going to end the poll, and the winner was the re-released deluxe legacy cabs are what people are the most excited for. But and I'll explain this because I've been waiting for this. Everybody says, I don't understand what the re-releases are. I don't understand what the re-releases are. The re-releases over and over again are trying to attract new customers with popular titles that Walmart and other retailers feel comfortable and safe picking up, while at the same time changing the product enough to try to satiate their existing customer base. That's the plan.
So you
It
say
might be
like
a
the
stupid
Pac-Man,
plan.
so you saying like the Pac-Man with the wood grain is to attract a new customer who likes that wood grain and wants that model of Pac-Man? Is that what you're indicating?
Nobody likes the wood grain. It was a terrible idea.
No, I don't like it
idea.
either.
What are you talking about?
I'm
Wood grain
asking
is
if
awesome.
that's what
Paneling
is
is
that what you're saying?
fantastic.
The wood grain is fantastic. What I'm saying is, I don't like the creative arcades where they try to do something different than the original. They don't try to replicate the original. And that's what I'm trying to put out there.
I don't know. I'm with Camp Glenn on this one. I don't know. I don't agree with it. Sorry, Glenn. That'll be the one and only time we agree to this.
That's okay. It's on the internet,
up.
which means it's forever.
I just don't see the point of 50 million Pac-Mans, whether you're a new customer or not a new customer.
Yeah, they got to start coming up with different properties. And you know what? I can't stand when they keep saying no, their IPs are too expensive. There's a ton of IPs that are definitely not expensive, but they got to go for it.
Mike, how many Pac-Mans did you buy?
I am on Pac-Man number Pac-Man number 3 right now, and if they ever come out with an XL, I'll be on Pac-Man number 4.
No, I
The only
mean,
reason
be
I
honest with it.
reason I bought my third Pac-Man was I had no intention of buying it, but the Pac-Mania cab was such a massive failure here in Canada. Best Buy put it on this crazy clearance sale, $2.99 Canadian over Christmas. So I was like $2.99, which works out to like $114 US. Not really, but something around those lines. It was so cheap. I was like, I mean, this is a $649 cabinet. This is about 40%.
It's
I'm
really a
gonna buy it.
$300 cabinet. They charge $649 for. Yeah, I get what
I
you're
know
saying.
what you're saying. Yeah. So I bought it, and screen's horrible, dog shit screen. But the cabinet is so unique and cool, and I get the online leaderboards for the games. I decided to keep that one when everything went down until the XL comes out.
So that might be the only draw that I could see people wanting to go to, like the newer iterations of Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, is those guys that really want to play these online with other people. That I could understand as being a draw as to, Glenn, why somebody would want to get the new Pac-Man versus keeping like a Gen 1 or a Gen 2 because
Well,
they want to go live.
there's definitely going to be the people who want the real look. So I do get it. I just think that again, from my standpoint, when you start getting these XLs, it takes up more space than a single standard one goes for. So you're running out of space. But there's definitely, if you're going to buy like one and you're a Pac-Man fan or you're a Blitz fan or something like that, and you want that cabinet, you go for it. I
Are
mean,
they the same size as the Legends? The XLs and the
XL?
Pros?
Height wise, they're actually taller than the Legends.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're about almost about 6 feet tall, just under.
What? So they're as tall as the Big Blue, because Big Blue's a little bit taller than the Legends, like to the point. Okay,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
make sure I specify that before I get roasted here.
Well,
the
you
chat.
can see in the background, Killer Instinct is about the same height as the rest of the XLs.
Oh,
back
that's
there.
okay. So that's a Pro, or
That's the
yeah,
Pro,
that's the Pro,
and you can see
okay.
it's just over the Legends.
So that's
Yep.
a Legends Ultimate you have between the Dead Cells and the Killer
No,
Instinct.
Legends Ultimate is the furthest one on the end. Other
Oh,
end.
oh, wow, that is big. That's like what, 2.5, maybe. I mean, from here, 3 inches taller.
3 inches makes a big difference, right,
That's
Glenn?
what
It does.
That's
No-
what she said.
no.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the difference between
Boku.
the Dig Dug and the Gen 1 cabinets is about 3 inches from Dig Dug because of that extra side panel.
Yeah. And it's a little bit wider too. It just has a better feel to it overall, especially like Killer Instinct back there. It's not my favorite fighting game, but like I got the 3/4 scale cabinet off my buddy Mike Dalton. He traded me for Capcom Legacy, and I actually fell in love with it. It was like I never grew up with it, but I fell in love with it. And just having that XL Pro form factor where you got more space in the control panel, like it's just so much more enjoyable to play these arcades with a bigger space and more freedom to do it. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's the best way I can explain it. Like when I first started getting the XL and Pros, I was like, holy shit, that's what these always should have been. And I stick by that. At that point, I was like, I don't really want 3/4 scale arcades anymore. I want all of my stuff to be XL or Pro. But I understand what you're saying. And I knew that too. I knew that the minute I couldn't just go and sell everything, because guess what? They're never going to make an XL Tron. They're never going to make an XL Dragon's Lair. So like some of these titles are going to be lost in space forever.
See,
So
and
basically, you have to do different rooms. One room for your standard, one for your
Yep.
XL.
See, I
And
would have
that's
got
what I
the
started
Dragon's
to try to
Lair.
do, and then my wife tried to leave me. So now I have no rooms.
I would have got the Dragon's Lair if they would have had the toggle switch for the cheat in there, because I can't play. I'm not that good at that game.
I
I
love
gotta say though,
Dragon's
they
Lair.
did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
After they got rid of that cell phone in the background and did it right, that cabinet is a nice.
It
cabinet.
is.
Star
It's a-
Wars, Tron,
Yep.
Dragon's Lair are definitely marked.
That's the holy trinity of arcade.
But they
101
should have had a
factor.
setting in there that for us dumb people who don't know how to play the game, that we could turn it on and toggle it on and off for like you guys that are good at it. you turn it off and you don't have the cheat. But
Well,
for
that's. I
us
mean,
to
I'm sure
learn
they
the
could
game,
release a firmware update with that, but it's just learn the old-fashioned way. You're saving 50 cents a
but do you know
game.
what, though? When they played it here on the Legends, they played it for like 2 minutes because they didn't understand how the game was played. I had to explain it to them. And even then they had a hard time. They're like, well, so when do I hit it? Is it like a second after I see it? Is it right? And so I told them to go over
Welcome
and
to
play it on
growing
the
up in the
iArcade.
80s, my friend. You just
No, I
figure it
get
out.
that. But when you're talking about justifying $600 for a cabinet that's probably going to collect dust because I'm not good at it, I won't play it that often. I'd just rather play it on the ROM. But the cabinet looks phenomenal. It looks
Yep,
like the
it does.
original. Like I would want it just so it, like Mike, you said about the deluxe, right? They look just like the originals. Like you would want it in here as a showpiece in your arcade, right?
Dear God, I hope so. I know everybody is so negative about TMNT. They keep saying it doesn't have a lot of replayability. I love Teenage Mutant
Fun
Ninja
game,
Turtles.
though.
Heck yeah, man! I play
I
it all the time.
disagree. I think it's got playability.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I would love to see an XL Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I hope, dear God, I hope they surprise me because I think they're going to play it safe. But if they blow my mind and release a 4-player XL Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this year, I'm all in. I'll buy that. No problem. Goodbye, NBA Jam. Turtles is here. Let's rock and roll.
I'd like to say goodbye to NBA Jam now.
I
Yeah,
like
that's-
NBA Jam. I'm happy with it.
That one is going to be on my house
Your
list.
cell list.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Well,
one's
Mike, I
definitely
mean, to be fair, as fast as that game is, it's really hard to do that 4-player. Like I don't like I would consider keeping it if Arcade 1-Up came out with a 2-player joystick that maybe had a little overlap on the sides. And that sounds kind of dumb, but so you have more room. That was the biggest complaint that people said when they played it over here because we have family members that love NBA Jam. They come over like at Christmas time and stuff, and they said there is no way, as rowdy as that game gets, that they could play 4 players on it.
You know, let's call a spade here. The XL's a little tiny bit bigger, but
Is that it? Only a little bit bigger on the control panel?
Control panel's only a little tiny
Really?
bit.
I would have thought it'd be almost as big as the AtGames one.
It's one of the failures with the 4-player
Oh.
is the control panel's only a little bit bigger. So I mean, they could have went with a 2-player, but I don't know what the right answer is to that. With NBA Jam, I think your 4-player experience is always going to be online. That's the focus on that.
I agree.
One, so.
I'll agree with that. Yep.
Koja Jangles wants a XL X-Men cabinet, and I agree. I love the X-Men cabinet that Arcade
Ooh, that
1-Up
would be
did.
cool.
That'd be a cool cabinet. The only problem is, I think I don't think it sold very well. Believe it or not, I don't think X-Men was a high seller. I know they went discounted here in Canada to $500. They were just clearancing them out when this cabinet was originally $829. So,
what about a Blitz XL? Would you buy a Blitz XL?
I
Since you had
really liked Blitz when I had it. I liked the online experience. It's not the original game. If they change the art back to the original game, that would help. And it's still fun. So
okay, I was just curious. Looking at the chat here.
We were supposed to do an Ask Me Anything, but we ended up talking for over 2 hours on what we were excited
Way to go,
about.
Glenn.
I blame B still. B is so negative.
Well, he's not here, so he gets to blame. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you hanging out for me. I didn't intend to go this long. I thought we were going to get through our stuff really quickly and then talk about
do a 5-minute quick 5-minute on.
Okay,
on
5 minutes.
5-minute. Ask Mike anything, and we'll shut up.
Ask us anything. Everybody here, ask us anything. If you want to know intimate details about Glenn's romantic life, now's the time to
I'll
ask.
spill it. I have no shame at all. Ask away. Glenn does it all.
Jennifer's not in the chat room, as you can
That's
tell.
right. No, she's out. She's sleeping.
There are some things that maybe I wasn't comfortable with. Maybe some wine would have
Oh,
helped.
Mike. So here's one for Ask Me Anything. I will be interviewing these lovely ladies coming up.
Oh, Deborah
Hello.
McMichael and Christy Hemme.
Tito Santana and Virgil.
I will advise you not to ask Christy Hemme about the Vince McMahon sex scandal, because apparently she is indeed the diva that was mentioned as the one that was let go after having an affair with Vince. She got a short push and then she was not pushed and then let go from the company. So
Well, I'm going to
do
ask
not-
her how if she knows Michael B, the Game Genie, is what I'm
she
going to.
does not know me. But apparently she was. That's the big rumor, that there was one specific diva that had an affair with Vince that was let go from the company.
Wow, I
and
didn't.
It
So
sounds
I
like
did.
it's Christy.
She's one I didn't know who it was. Like I know
Yeah.
Deborah McMichael. I just didn't remember the other one, but yeah. So it'll be pretty cool to do the Hall of Famers like that. So
Yeah, Deborah McMichael. You can ask her a lot of awkward questions. Her husband, her original husband, is in pretty hard shape. So
is he Mongo?
Mongo? Yeah, Mongo's health is terrible. Like
No
he's
way.
yeah, he's a shell of what he used to be now. He's confined to a
Wow.
bed, poor guy. So she's been there with him through most of that. But like
Wow.
I've always wondered what happened, because she went there with Mongo and then somehow ended up in some kind of relationship with Jeff Jarrett, left WCW with Jeff Jarrett to go to WWE, and then very quickly got in a relationship with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I've always found that love triangle very strange. Okay, we got some questions finally coming in. JT Brunwick with the first one. Glenn, any hope for a GRS spinner for the Atari Tempest Legacy?
I'm going to be honest. We tried. It looks like they took some Hall effect technology and put in some blockers in there. That's all I can say. I've tried. I've reached out when I was actually speaking to them over there, and they promised to give me some technical readouts, and never did. So most likely not, because they put something in their machine to basically block third-party spinners. And without that information, there's no way to do it. I mean, I worked with P-Dubs for a while. So I was setting, we did all these different spinners and protocols, sent out to P-Dubs, like, it doesn't work, Glenn. Doesn't work, Glenn. So, unfortunately, I'd say at this point, no. Maybe if Team Encoder, because he actually reached out to me and said they were looking into it, but I never heard back from Team Encoder. So if he ever figures it out, I'll be happy to.
Can we do a Get Loud?
No, Get
Sure.
Loud doesn't work.
Oh,
Sure.
okay. Just
The only time Get Loud works is when the retailer gets loud and says, "No, we don't want Double Dragon." All right, so here's a fun question, not really arcade related, but I want to answer this. When was the first time you kissed a girl? L space O space L.
And you have to verify it was actually a girl, because nowadays you can't really tell, right?
I'm not going there. All right, Glenn, you're up first.
I haven't yet. I'm still a virgin. I haven't kissed a girl yet. I kissed a woman, but I've never kissed a girl.
What about you, Steven? Don't have
I
to say who it is, but you just have to
I
say
would ha-
where and
what,
when.
Mom.
what my age was when I did.
Mom.
Was that what they want to know? What age?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think I was 17 or 18. It was after I was driving because the girlfriend I had at the time, I believe I was
charging by the hour?
I want to say it was like 17 or 18. Yeah, charging by the hour.
That was the first time you kissed a girl, 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
You were
Yeah,
brought
it's-
up right. None of that messing around early.
Yeah. Nope. I was my parents were just to be fair, just to elaborate a tiny bit. My parents were like very, very strict. Like I wasn't even
Yeah.
allowed to cross the street until I was 13 years old. Like, so what do they call them? Helicopter parents, right? Is that what they
Yeah.
call them?
Yeah, helicopter mom.
We
mom.
when we wanted to play football or hockey, we had to like lie to my mom and like because all the boys was like, we're playing tackle, we ain't playing two-hand touch. And we've come home limping time to time. My mom would be like, well, what happened to you? Oh, we tripped on the curb on the way home. Oh, okay. Like because she was worried that we were going to get hurt and have to go to the hospital. So yeah. So I was kind of sheltered on that.
The
side.
problem, Jason M, you're in a closet. You know it's a girl? You never know.
Funny enough, Jason M., you actually nailed my answer. It was with my grade 6 girlfriend. I was 11 years old. We went to our first date together, which was we watched Wayne's World in theaters. We never kissed
Wayne's
there, but
World.
we went to a party about a week later, and during 7 Minutes in Heaven, we kissed for the first time.
Look at you stud.
Oh, I'm telling you, all the magic happened when I was 11. So Rob Krasinski says TMNT XL for $1,000. No, thank you. It won't be $1,000. XL cabs, you're looking at $599, $699, somewhere in that price range. So it won't be $1,000. If they do a $1,000 Pro TMNT, that'd be a massive mistake. This one's a question for you, Glenn, from Stardust. Do you make the spacer for the push-pull spinner to direct fit into Arcade 1 of Tron?
We do. It's actually on the T-Sticks website. It's an STL file, so you have to either 3D print it yourself or have someone print it for you. But yeah, it goes right in. And Stephen, I did send one to Stephen for his, but yes, it is on the website.
Just make sure you give him the right file.
Yeah, true.
Jaycut said it led to Mike's first stander upper as well. Do you guys know what a stander upper is? Have you followed P-Dub's Arcade Loft?
Isn't that we do a number 2 and it kind of sits up in the bowl?
No, a stander upper apparently is something P-Dubs does, which I'm still fascinated by this. It's where he takes care of himself in his garage before he comes in while standing up. But yet I don't know where anything goes. I don't know. I know his input. I just don't know where the
Mike,
output goes.
I'm sitting here eating, and you're talking about P-Dubs doing this.
What a way to end it. All right.
Now I've got this mental picture in my head.
You're going to be seeing that when you go to sleep tonight. Thanks for hanging upstairs. What's it saying again? Thanks as always for hanging out upstairs with me where I do my stander uppers. All right,
I
guys.
think I
well,
just threw
anyways,
up in my mouth a little
I
bit.
kept you way too long tonight. I'm sick. Thank you so much, guys, for jumping in, helping
Of
me out
course.
here tonight, hanging out with me and having fun, and trying to keep it positive, except for
Wait a
being
minute, you're
Steven.
ending it on P-Dubs whacking one out, and that's how we're ending the show?
That's how we end every show. P-Dubs wax one out.
His wife's probably calling him, telling me he has to go.
I don't have much more than that. For a year where there's been so many, like, especially us on YouTube, like we focus on some of the more negative things while we talk about the positive things, and maybe it doesn't all come across that way. I thought it'd be fun just to talk about the stuff we were naturally excited for. And for me, I mean, people look at me, I'm in a weird space. I sold off a bunch of my stuff. Still a bunch of stuff I'm excited for in home arcade. I mean, I'm excited for the light guns on the iArcade. Still got my iArcade back there. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to the LP 4K. Of course, I got my PC all set up. I'm excited to go with that. And, no surprise, XL cabs. We know there's a new XL cab coming. I'm hoping it's something that's really cool. I'm also excited for them to do a Robotron at some point, but I still don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's possible. So there we go.
So you ended the positive on a negative with the Robotron.
God damn it. Can't help
What
myself.
are you talking about? I'm still sitting here like I've got this vision of P-Dubs in a standee. Like, what the heck?
That's scary. You haven't gotten that out of your head, Stephen. I've
Yeah,
already gotten
look
that out
at
of my
they're
head.
saying it in the chat room, man. Come on.
That's what he's doing. On the floor, on the wall, I don't know, but that's what he's doing.
Weird flex, but okay. And now, cranking one out with Michael B. New show.
You had to say that, Mike. Of all things you could have said, you had to say that.
Anyways,
Really?
guys, you're fantastic. You guys, go check out the Tech Buzz, and you do game time every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then sometimes I forget and try to stream at the exact same time.
We
but I caught it last
we might do game time this week. Might be canceled. We'll see.
No, don't cancel it. Do it.
And I'm in the process of rebranding. I just got to pull myself to do it. I want to go with because I do the Tech Buzz Gaming, but I want to change everything to TTB Gaming to make it short. I got to get away from the Tech Buzz because that's what I did for tech for so long. So I'm like, I just haven't pulled myself to do it yet. It's kind of like one of those things. It's like,
You should
yeah,
do
I
some
have to
market
do it, but I
research
do it.
before you do it. Do some market research, because at one point I was actually going to change my channel name to Michael B Gaming because I thought it would just be simpler and easier and lose the Game Genie thing. And like overwhelming people came back and they were like, "You're nuts. Stay with what you got."
I know. Like I want to keep my name as the Tech Buzz, but I want to like as my online name, right? But the branding is TTB Gaming, just like with the website. I don't know. Anyways, I digress.
So, anyways, Steven, you've been doing a lot of NES stuff lately. That's something you're super interested in. You're going for a full collection. Do you want to tell anybody about that before you go?
Yeah, Mike says I'm nuts, and so does everybody
He's
else say that
nuts.
I'm nuts, and I'm finding out that I am nuts for
Yeah.
doing this. But Actually, I've been also picking up some Game Boy stuff and doing it. And Glenn, I showed you. Did you see
Yeah, I
that
saw it.
nice?
Yeah, I did.
That nice Game Boy, $150, completely recapped.
And was it a backlit screen on that
It
one?
was a brand new LCD screen
Yeah.
in there. I could change
Yeah,
the
it's nice.
colors of it that I want.
That's nice.
I figured I had to
I
rub that
found
into
out after the
Glenn a
movie
little bit.
Tetris, I've been pulling out my Game Boy a lot. I will say that. Great movie.
That's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to play. So I've been finding personally, you're going to see a lot more console videos from me because I've just been, been burned out in the whole home arcade market here. There's really not a lot to talk about. And I've just really getting into this collecting stuff. So yeah, and if you didn't see, I interviewed the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase on Saturday. Go watch that interview. It's only like 6 minutes long.
Though with all
YouTube. That was
the
a lot of fun.
inflation, it's only worth 600,000, but that's all right.
Back when we were kids, $1 million seemed like so much money, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still does, but not really. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, though. He was a guy that I could have interviewed for a half an hour. He would have went on, and the chat room was like throwing as many questions. So I was trying to stick with the guys that were there for the whole coverage that I was doing. And but yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot more of that stuff too, because I've been invited to a lot of different cons to interview some of these wrestlers, and we'll be covering that live. So if you're into that, the toy cons and game cons and all that good stuff.
Just cons.
Yeah.
Well, only when
are you going to
there.
be interviewing any ex-cons?
Well, I do talk to Glenn a lot, so I mean,
truth.
So, Glenn, you're new to YouTube. You've only been doing this for a couple months now, right?
8 years, almost 9 years now, I think. Taking forever.
Glenn's Retro Show. Go check him out on YouTube. And you do a show every Friday night, right before us. You go on at 8 p.m. Eastern, kicking it old school.
No. It's called The Old Guy Show. Look it up.
The Old Guy Show. You want to tell people about kicking it old school in case they haven't watched before?
Well, it's just two guys who haven't kicked the bucket yet. We go all over the place. We talk about old shows, cartoons, women, everything. Games too.
About women.
Of course, women. Absolutely. We were just talking about Ginger Lynn this past Friday because she was in what's that game called now? I can't remember the stupid game. I think of Ginger Lynn now. I can't get it out of my head. The space game in the 90s. What was it called? Mark Hamill was in it too.
Oh,
Star Wars?
No. It's like Star Command.
Wing
4.
Commander.
Wing Commander 4.
Ginger Lynn was a Wing Commander. So then we got on the tangent with that. So it's really a show. It's like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. We just start talking about something and it goes. The subject usually comes up maybe 5 minutes we go live, and half the time my sound doesn't work. But that's the fun of it. You just come in and watch two people make fools of themselves for an hour.
You know my favorite thing about that? You were like, oh, she was just in that game, 30 years ago.
Yeah, she's probably like 80 now. But still, I'll remember Ginger Lynn as she was.
As she was.
Yeah, and I'm sure P-Dubs was every time he walks into his garage. I'm sure that's who he's thinking of.
Yeah, it's rough now. Like you see some of the girls like we grew up with in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. And like they're still beautiful. They've aged naturally.
Samantha Fox.
I haven't seen Samantha Fox since I was a kid.
Well, she probably looks like a train wreck now, but back then she looked great.
Oh yeah, that was the big thing. Everybody talked about Samantha Fox, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she was a porn star too, so there you go.
Was she really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she did a little bit here and there from what I heard. Because
Glenn, we don't call it porn here. They're art films.
No, they're porn. Straight up porn, baby.
Art. All right, guys. Well, anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'm gonna try not to die. I was planning on playing some pinball, but then I went online for 2 hours and 19 minutes on my stream, so I don't think there's gonna be any pinball tonight. Thank you so much for everybody for watching. And honestly, if only we had Doug here, you could say keep it buzzing. But alas, our princess is in another castle. Anyways, good night, everybody. You're all fantastic. Love you. See you next Monday.
Buzz, buzz.